Oh, look at that. We're live with the workshop, everybody. Episode 287. My name is Keller Aves. Welcome. Welcome, watchers. Welcome. This is cool. And then we got the little flag saying that it's on. I didn't fuck up again. So listen, this is a comedy workout room. That's what we do is we all comedians get random words. And then we, try to make jokes out of them 3 to 5 minutes. And then later on, we do our own jokes. And I want to say this is a comedy safe space, which that means it's safe for us and not for you guys. This is all within the realm of us just trying to be funny, and we're working out jokes. And like I said, random topics. So we don't know what's going to come out. We don't even know what's funny yet until we say it. So, some of us do. But anyways, if you do ever want to join this show, just give a little comment or try to join the group, and you'll see what's going on. It's pretty awesome. So our, we'll talk about the crew first. Jesse Gillette, why don't you introduce yourself?
My name is Jesse. I'm out of Calgary, Alberta. I do a YouTube channel and a budding production company called Everybody Laughs. So check that out if you ever get the time.
Cool. And Joe, tell us about yourself. Where are you from?
Hey, guys. Yeah, my name's Joe, a.k.a. Joke Daddy. How's that angle? I don't know. I am the owner and producer of Joke Daddy Productions. Got a podcast. You can get it on Spotify. Just search J Gomez 206 or the hashtag Joke Daddy. It'll come up. Yeah. Great to be here tonight.
Good. Jordan, where are you from, buddy? What's going on?
Hey, I'm Jordan. I'm from Vancouver. And listening to our first two, I realized how little I have going on in social media. I'm the worst Facebooker that ever booked a face. But yeah, I'm here to do what I can.
Awesome. Yeah.
Funniest of us all.
How about you?
Who, me? Little old me. Yeah, I'm Dan Brennan. I'll talk about this later, but I actually got to do a show in front of other comedians. So it felt like, a normal night on the grind. But it was really, really nice to be back. I did a couple shows and I'm going down to London, Ontario to do the Fox and Fiddle. For all you people tuning in from London, Ontario, don't miss it, 7 p.m. because you're out the door by 9 p.m. Yeah, shit. But it was something.
Sounds like a goal, man.
There you go.
Keller Reeves, like I said, and out of Chilliwack, British Columbia, not far from Jordan. The thing, just looking at us all now, this is the workshop with maybe the biggest heads, the biggest sized heads. I think on average, we probably could average it out and beat most things. But yeah, anyways, it's
expect witty commentary. Damn it!
Yeah.
And on International Women's Day,
exactly.
All lineup. Let's have it.
Okay, the lineup's going to be this. We're going to go in clockwise to my view at least. So Jesse, Joe, Jordan, Dan. I'll start it off. How's that sound? And
sure.
So I got a little timer. I'm going to just show the screen when it's when it's 3 minutes, but you guys can keep going if you want to. I'm not stopping anybody. So that makes sense. So awesome. Let's get my stopwatch going here, and we'll start this. Hey, listen, my topic for today is, and I lost it, crashes, like you're crashing into something. So, I feel like that's pretty much sums up all my Zoom sets, crashing, crashing and burning. Pretty much that's it. I crashed a Job's Daughters convention one time. You may know what that is. I don't know much about Job's Daughters. I don't anything, but I was walking by in my hotel and I saw there's this big kind of daughter auction. I don't know what was going on with it, but I was like, hey, what's that? Hey, look, they got cake. So I just kind of, tried to, pretty much I like crashing parties like a 20-year-old crash the car, just as little amount of witnesses as possible. Just, little hit and run, get out of there. That's what I was looking for. Just to walk in, steal some double chocolate cake that I saw from afar. And, I got in a couple of wide listen, they're trying to haggle me. They're trying to haggle me to buy their daughters. It was a fucking weird thing. But, I just, worked my way out and just got my cake and got out of there, basically. That's what I did. So, well, that's sometimes fun. This is a fun thing to do. So, I've lost track of where I was. That's what happens, folks, when you get stoned. You lose track of everything. So, Okay, this is what I'm thinking. Yesterday, I was thinking about I was smoking a pork ribs yesterday. I just got into smoking, and I smoked these point ribs, and I started thinking, I'd really want to smoke a turkey. And I don't know if anybody's ever thought of this, but with like marijuana leaves, I'm pretty sure that would work. Has anybody thought about trying this before? Anybody? I think it would work. It's like a double smoked turkey. It'd be fun. I think it'd be pretty good, Or as I like to call it, a token smirky. That's what it's called. I'm not going to explain what that means because I don't really know. I just, wrote it down and thought it was pretty funny. So, yeah. But I think marijuana leaves. Like I just don't know. Like I don't know where to get marijuana leaves. That's the biggest thing. Like, I don't know. They're legal, I guess. If you got marijuana, it must be legal to get marijuana leaves. But I can't take. I don't know anybody that grows it, and I don't like taking drugs from strangers. So that's just the way it works. I'm just stuck daydreaming about this. How that goes to crashing, I don't know, but I had it written down somehow. You guys watch that TV show Crashing? Probably us comedians know all about it. The TV show Crashing. You guys seen that? That's like this Pete Holmes is the star of this thing, which is based on his young comedian life, played by an old comedian. So it's kind of a weird thing. He's like, I don't know, 50 playing a 20-year-old. It's kind of weird. And I thought it was even more weird because it's like he's going through as a newbie, kind of the same stage as I am. And he's getting helped out by older comedians. And, and I just keep thinking, why the fuck would Artie Lang even talk to that guy? I just don't get it. So, the way I would feel, the same, like, why is that old guy talking to him? So it just keeps pursuing in my head. Another thing too, yesterday I watched U.S. Marshals. You guys seen that movie with Tommy Lee Jones and Wesley Snipes? And the reason why I bring it up because there's a plane that crashed. There's a big plane crash scene and everything, right? And where it is this ex-federal, I guess, officer, federal agent. Wesley Snipes is running from Tommy Lee Jones. He's on the lam, basically. He's running on the lam. He's running away, and they're chasing him. He like gets away, and he's hiding and all like near in public sight. Like he's hanging out in like downtown New York, and all I keep thinking, like, man, if you can't spot Wesley Snipes in a crowd, man, just get out of the business, Tommy Lee Jones. Especially in those get-ups. But yeah, I thought that would go better somehow, But I've done 4 minutes. I think I'll just stop because, I found that topic pretty hard. But thank you, I'm done. I like to do that all the time. So thank you, guys. So here we go. Yeah, give me some input, buddy. What do you got?
I wrote down 3 things. 2 I think are helpful. 1 I think is just it shows just how I need to stop smoking so much pot. We'll start with the pot one. It says, I love crashing weddings. Like cars, but everyone survives traumatized.
Yeah. Makes sense. Yeah.
See, not the funniest thing. I was just like, that's a little bit dark. Maybe don't use that. But one I think you could use. You were talking about smoking turkeys with pot leaves. I think that's a hilarious premise. Keep that, polish that. I think you have something there. You could lead in with something like, I've been smoking pot for years, but lately I've been looking into edibles and, like growing my own plants. So I'm thinking about cooking my own food, making my own edibles. And something I've been looking forward to is double smoked turkey. But unfortunately, with double smoked turkey, you need to find the right strain. And it's literally the only time I've been looking for Rosemary's Baby.
Makes sense. Yeah. That's a good one.
And then you mentioned crashing with Artie Lang, and I like that lead in where like, have you ever actually seen Pete Holmes? Artie Lang would never talk to Pete Holmes. That's not happening. Not as a new comedian. No, and I thought a nice little like sign off for that would be Artie Lang would only talk to Pete Holmes for coke. That would be it, because he would literally think he's an undercover cop. Yeah. Artie Lang would walk up, put on the pig nose, just be like, hey, you make any bus tonight? Don't worry, I'm just like you. Can you smell the bacon? Peel off the nose, do a line. It's just like, can you hook me up? I feel like Artie Lang would do something like that. But anyways, that's all I had.
Well, thank you so much, everybody. Yeah. How about you, Joe? You got any pointers?
Yeah. I was making notes so like haphazardly here. You were talking about haggling?
Yeah.
What are you talking about haggling?
with Job's daughters.
Oh yeah. I think you should lean into that because I think that's a really funny premise, and I think when you just kind of scratch the surface on it,
Yeah.
it seems a little weird. But I think if you really just kind of push into it, but then like I like how you like I just left with cake and just be like, maybe I need to work on my haggling skills because all I got was this cake and a cup of punch. I don't know.
Yeah. I actually leaned into that on my sheet, but then
did you?
Okay, yeah, I had some things that I was like, explaining that I was dodging through a crowd and get stuck talking to some dads who were trying to sell me on some braces, like, hey, this model here, and I was like, but I backed.
Look at the color of hair on this one.
Yeah.
The coat, the sheen, it's so healthy.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen a hair this healthy? You can make a rope out of it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Do what you want. She's yours now.
Yeah, like I think that's something you just either got to go hard or don't.
Yeah.
Your smoked turkey, I thought that was a really funny concept. I had a couple things. You might want to make sure when you're doing that to use a sativa, because you might not want like the double hit of just a sleepy of the indica and the what is it, tryptophan?
Yeah,
tryptophan.
Yeah. So and then maybe just screw it, maybe just smoke out of the turkey. I don't know, fuck it, I'm a stoner. I don't have 6 hours to wait for my turkey to get smoked. I need to get baked.
It's step 4.2.
Yeah.
Convert turkey into a bong. Remove stuffing. Fill insides with preferred strain. Hit top of neck. Yeah, everyone knows this.
Yeah, I tried to smoke my turkey with weed leaves, and I just ended up with 3rd-degree burns because I was sitting on top of the smoker, hitting out of the chimney like a giant bong. I don't know.
My lips swole shut for a week.
Actually, it's pretty good.
So I don't know. I think it's fun. That's a hard topic, but I think you had some good stuff there that you could work with. So that's all I had.
Thank you.
Oh my God, that even plays into the crashing. Just because, like, if you double hit a turkey, you're gonna crash hard.
So hard.
You're not gonna wake up for like 3 days. Parts of your life will be ruined.
There's no leftovers because the munchies were just that heavy.
Yeah. You need to find a new job just because of that one killer ass turkey.
He keeps rolling. That's good.
Missed out on Black Friday. Slept right through it.
I'm sorry. I'll be quiet for the rest of it. I promise.
No, that's okay. Jordan, how about you? Do you got any input?
Yeah, like I agree with Joe about talking, because I'm still not totally sure what this event was that you crashed, like about auctioning off daughters. All I wrote down was, what was this thing? 2 question marks. So like, and if you don't even know for sure, like even just say like, and I never even found out what this was, because I'm still wondering, okay, like they're auctioning their daughters. There's a lot of missing pieces there. I'd like to know like exactly what it was, because again, there's probably something to work with there. Like you just talked about what a fucked up event it was. I also like the grass-fed, the turkey thing. What I wrote down, because you've heard of grass-fed beef, so I'm sure there's a play on words with grass-fed turkey that you could like. And I think I've heard of like, Kobe beef or whatever, like the cows get fed wine or something like that. So I had an image of like, how people used to get their cat high by taking a toke and then blowing it in their cat's face. Maybe you do that to a turkey, you get it high before you hack its head off or something. I don't know. And then the last thing I just thought of was, is there a Tommy Lee Jones movie where he isn't chasing a criminal? Like there's the one you mentioned, there's No Country for Old Men, and there's The Fugitive. Like I think that's all Tommy Lee Jones does, is just chase criminals in movies. So maybe there's something you can do with that. I don't know, but that's what I have, and I'm kind of on the same board with the other 2 so far.
Yeah.
That just gave me the best visual ever of like someone in like a butcher's shed, just calming down a turkey, taking a big hit, blowing in his face. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. I'm not gonna do anything. This machete, it's nothing. It's nothing. So twisted. Oh, sorry, Dan.
Yeah, no worries.
I probably don't have much advice for your comedy set, but I've got a few thoughts on how you would actually smoke a turkey with weed. No, what was the name you gave your new contraption, your new edible thing?
Yeah, token smirky.
Yeah,
you change the 2 words.
You got to commit to the bit, because I laughed because you knew it was shit before you said it. I'm not saying it's shit. You know what I mean? I'm not. That's what I'm saying. You weren't proud of it, right?
No.
It's up to you. You weren't proud of it, and I was laughing because you're like,
I was
and
trying not to.
anyway.
And
I think you could do. I think you could do a lot more with like setting it up. I thought about doing this, but also doing it as past tense. Like, we have to see the results of this turkey, right? Like, and that's where you can get into the double down. Like, I fucking don't use an indica. Once that mixes with the tryptophan, I was out for 2 weeks,
Yeah.
Whatever, stuff like that. So yeah. Great stuff though.
Yeah, thank you guys.
I never I don't sorry, this is rude of me as well, but if you're ever on stage, don't reference something that features comedians, because the audience won't get it.
Yeah,
but the comedians will be in the back of the room going, "You fucking best show ever," and the audience will be like, "Fuck, did we pay money for this? What are we doing?" So
yeah, no, I actually just did it for this one because I knew you guys would. Most comedians would know what it is. I mean, it is a comedy. So yeah, like, who watches us? How many fans do we have really watching us comedians always watching it? So
yeah,
but yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, it's a good tip for you youngsters out there watching. You kids, Okay, well, let's move it on, guys, because that was a good thing. Thank you so much for that input and everything. Yeah, there we go. Thank you, Jordan, for the clap. Let's keep our hands going for our next comedian, Jesse Gillette. What's your topic, buddy?
Thank you so much. My topic was curling. So I did a little research, and I'm going to take you through the true history of curling. Curling founded back in the 1600s. By who, you might ask? The Irish. That's right, the Irish. People who know not of the ice. What would they do? They would simply... when it rained too much on the golf courses, what they'd end up doing is they'd take very heavy stones, much like Stonehenge. It's actually believed that they used this to build Stonehenge. All Stonehenge was a game of curling that had went awry. Back to the main subject, though. Originally, curling, when the golf courses were too wet to play golf upon, they would slide giant rocks over the holes. Whoever got closest to the hole would win. This, of course, was stolen by the Nazis. Because why? The Nazis steal everything. It's what they do. Now, this was early Nazis, keep in mind. They were like hardcore Nazis. I mean, Germans who hate other white folk Nazis. So it's like the people who created the Nazis. You know what I mean? So Naziception, if you will. A Nazi within a Nazi. Turducken of Nazis. Now, when the Nazis adopted it, they turned curling, as we now know it, into Bonspiel, meaning blood sport, as we all know if you're brushed up on your German. Now, in Bonspiel, what you would do was you'd find an inferior race and you'd slide it into across very thin ice, and then if whoever got the ice to break with their inferior race, again, please keep in mind, follow the premise of the joke. These are terrible people. They're Nazis. They did terrible things. So you take your inferior race, just, by the belt buckle, preferably by the neck. I did find certain tutorials on how to throw your inferior race, depending on what you found. They did suggest Asians, but it was a dicey thing because small frames. Now, again, terrible people. It's okay to laugh. They did fail in their ultimate quest, I promise you. So, again, until I do another alternative history, then did they? Tune in for that. But back to the main topic. Bonspiel was taken away from the Germans upon Canadians showing up on D-Day. You see, on D-Day, the Germans were playing a giant game of Bonspiel upon the French coast. Now, the Canadians, having been in their U-boats and seeing what was going down, noticed that they were playing what looked like a very cheerful game between giant hellish barracks and underneath 50 caliber machine guns. This looked out of place to the Canadian soldiers. So the Canadian soldiers did the only thing that a Canadian soldier would do in that situation. Liberated France. I know what you're thinking. It's an overreaction just because you saw some guys playing a game that you liked in a setting that you didn't like. But we're Canadian. You know, we're very nitpicky that way. A bit of OCD. They say we're polite. It's OCD. Now, upon D-Day, what did we get for our participation in World War II and the liberating of France and all these Nazi-held lands? Well, ladies and gentlemen, not only did we get independence, but we got the game of Bonspiel, which, in respect to our Irish heritage of as we all come from immigrants, most of us, you know, we don't talk about that part, but most of us honor that heritage by turning it back into curling, except we have ice, and it only made sense to make it a very rich person's game, where you need literally tens of thousands of dollars in order to even conceive playing it. Thank you very much. This has been an alternative history on curling. My name is Jesse Gillette.
Well, that was good. Yeah. Alternative history. That's a part I missed at the start. It's like, what's he talking about? The Irish never had anything to do with it, but yeah.
Actually, Bonspiel is an Irish German word.
Irish German.
Yeah.
Mixed.
Yeah.
Oh, like Bon is.
You learn a new thing.
Beal is. I don't know. It's like half.
The more you know.
That's exactly it. Bon is taken from the Irish derivative, and Spiel is taken from the German.
But I like how you went from 1600 to 1939 like this.
I mean, it's Irish history, dude, and it's a bit about curling. I had to make a choice.
Yeah. It really like it curled back all of a sudden. Like, wow. So yeah.
I mean, like they did it for a while, and then like the Germans just took it.
I liked your part about the Illuminati basically being rich people. I think you could have used that a lot more, just being a rich person sport. We didn't even talk about the pants, man. I want to hear about the pants and the outfits. That's the best part about curling. It's like the cool shoes and shit they wear. But yeah, no, but good job, Dan. How about you? What do you think about Jesse's?
The fucking Scots invented curling.
Did they?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
swear
what
to
the hell
God
is
they
an
did.
Irish German word?
No, I swear to God. And there's a guy like I was born in Ireland, right? So I'm not going to sit here.
Yeah.
I'm not going to sit here and go. I fucking know everything there is to know.
I know the Scottish invented golfing. I think I might have fucked that up.
Swear to God, the Scots invented curling. The one thing I would say, you need to have like you could have used a more gripping intro than. So I looked up the definition. Unless you were going to really make fun of the idea, you know what I mean? Like do something like Webster's Dictionary defines curling or whatever, you know, or it's Wikipedia. But yeah, a more gripping intro because I could just see an audience going, "Oh fuck."
Fair.
I hope that's handy advice. Yeah, and that's all I had, buddy.
No, I appreciate that, and I think you're right. It needs something that'll actually like if you're doing a bit like that, you need to hook them from like the first like 10 to 20 seconds, and then you need to keep that coming.
Yeah. Well, you need to do that. You need to do that all the time. But yeah. Like, have you ever been to a wedding and the best man gets up and he says, "Love is defined by the dictionary as," and everybody just goes, "Jesus Christ, what time are they opening the bar again?" Like that. I didn't feel it was a strong intro for a good subject.
Makes sense. Yeah. How about you, Joe? Do you have input for Jesse?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually was sort of along the lines of Dan. Not so critical though. No, I'm just kidding. No, Dan,
Oh no, please get critical. Like that's why I like the workshop. I can actually like build this shit. If there's something worth entertaining, then for sure.
No, I think Dan was spot on. I was just because I really liked where you were going with talking about the Irish discovering, but now that's not true, but whatever. But I like how you like led into like the Stonehenge, and I just wanted more like, and this is actual fact. Stonehenge was created by, what did you say? Curling mishap on a rye or something. Like it was funny the way you said it. It's not funny the way I say it, but I just feel like if you like nailed in the fact that you were like selling the fact, like this is it, even though it's not, I think that just it makes us mentally check in, like,
yeah,
hold on, what? Like, it cues in something with us that makes us question and laugh. So go ahead.
Okay.
And I think the way to sell that fact, if you want to go down the absurd, is to really build up the story of how Stonehenge was invented by curling gone awry, and explain to people, giants used to roam the land. Didn't know that, did you? Didn't you know that? Because Stonehenge, they're fucking huge rocks, right? You know what I mean?
And leprechauns were their caddies. They carried the
or whatever. You could take it wherever you want, because you got to sell this as a true fact, right? So as opposed to those fake facts we hear so much about. But anyways, that would be, you could have a lot of fun with that. You know what I mean? You could see, the stones were all one big curling rock, and it got smashed. What would smash such a big curling rock? I don't know. I'm not the one writing the joke, but it's yeah.
Yeah, you could have like a full 1.5 to 2 minutes of like just the largest curling tournament ever hosted, and what became Stonehenge.
Yeah.
I mean, fuck it. You could even say Ireland was covered in ice back then.
Everyone was cocky until Scottish giants showed up.
That would be great. Like,
Little known fact: Scottish people used to be 7 feet tall.
Curling. It seems like I look it up because I'm 99.9% sure it was the Scots, but it seems odd.
I'm 100% looking that up now, just because I do enjoy the idea of doing an alternative history thing.
Yeah.
So
that was my other idea.
I might elaborate more on curling, because it does feel like there might be something there.
But it does seem odd that a country where men wear kilts and nothing underneath them invented a sport where they had to stretch their balls over, like they stretch their legs out and they're free hanging balls over ice like that.
That's a great visual.
It's an awful visual is what it is. But it seems odd, you know what I mean? Like, maybe people really like chilled nuts. They didn't like to talk about it, so they invented a whole sport.
Count robust. What are you talking about? That cooler temperature, man. That's why Scots are so fertile.
I guess so.
I just imagine like licking a pole pretty much with your nuts, just getting stuff. Just like,
yeah. You don't want to get a wet nut down there.
That's how the Scottish identify their best players. It's whoever was born with the free club.
There you go.
Hey, Jordan, what do you think?
I thought the whole thing he called it an alternative history. While I was listening to this, I was thinking, like, this feels like an episode of Drunk History. Like, I mean, you need to get more shit-faced before you do this bit, maybe. But I mean, because of all the images that everybody's saying, like, I mean, to be honest, I'm not sure if this is a stand-up bit, but this does feel like some good content. Like if you did it like a news report where you got the drop-in image and you can sort of juxtapose images for humor, or maybe you've got animation or a video and you're doing voiceover and that kind of stuff.
I definitely do it more as a sketch than anything else. Like if I was going to do it live, I'd have a projector behind me showing images of something.
Yeah. So no, I think there's something there and everything that everybody said, but if you go that direction with it, I definitely think there's something there.
No, I appreciate that 100%.
What would you have on your screen, man? Like, it's the funniest thing. Like, them throwing
you literally just sit you just put an 8-hour day into it, and you Photoshop the things you're describing. Like if you're going to describe a Bonspiel involving Stonehenge, then you go through the trouble to Photoshop some people around looking like they're playing like they're curling around Stonehenge. Maybe edit some rocks out, like make it look like the scene.
I gotta say one thing about that. It reeks of effort, but sounds great to watch. I'd watch it.
I mean, put a little effort into anything you're actually going to like charge money for.
Yeah, you got it. Well, let's put our hands together for Jesse Gillette. Way to go, buddy. Joe, you ready?
I'm ready.
Let's put our hands together for Joe. What's your topic, buddy?
Oh man, I got chicken farming, and that was a very fun topic for me to try and tackle. Let me tell you, for like a multitude of reasons, and I'm not even going to give you any backstory because that would just be stupid. So I'm just going to jump right in. I think that chicken farming, for me, is weird because I'm actually a chicken farmer. I know I look like the type to definitely farm some chickens, but this is what happens when like the pinnacle of white suburbia America meets like the pinnacle of like the Mexican immigrant. Like you're destined to farm chickens. Like it's like these two worlds collided in perfect harmony to create this. Like it was inevitable. I'm a city boy, grew up in Seattle. My wife grew up in like the sticks in Oregon somewhere. I don't know, some backwards country type land. I don't know. She's accustomed to farm animals. I'm not. But somehow we ended up with chicken. It's weird because she's been pressuring me for another dog for like 5 years. And we settled on 2 chickens. I know you're probably saying, Joe, 2 chickens, that's not chicken farming. I beg to differ. Do you know what goes into chicken farming? A lot goes into chicken farming. A lot. You can't just get chickens, okay? I am now a builder. I'm a contractor. I had to build a fence. I know you're looking at me like, yeah, he's Mexican. That's easy. No, I'm not that kind of Mexican. All right. I'm not a farming Mexican. I'm not a building, contracting Mexican. I had to build a fence. I had to build a coop. Okay. I went from 2 free chickens that were going to give us eggs, so it would cut down on our egg budget, to spending $1,000 in raw material to build these chickens a place to live. They don't even stay inside of it, y'all. I can't even keep them in their pen. Like, it's so aggravating. I got chickens. My chickens are in the alley. They're in my neighbor's yard. They're digging up the neighbor's garden. I'm the talk of the neighborhood watch. Gomez's chickens are out again. I love the chickens. I think the chickens are cool. I actually have a really nice relationship with the chickens. My chickens' names are Rebecca and Henrietta, or Henny, as I like to call. And people would say that you shouldn't name your chickens. You shouldn't name anything that you're planning on eating. I don't care, because as soon as they stop laying eggs, I'm making chicken wings, Henrietta style. They're going to be spicy and a pain in the ass on the way out. But I'm a chicken farmer now, and I'm wearing my Joke Daddy gear right now. And I just noticed, so I got the matching beer, golden beer, Rainier, golden Mike, golden sweat. Like, that's kind of cool. I just noticed that. Anyways, but as a chicken farmer, I have a certain attire that I have to wear because I go to the feed store now. I should go to like the farm supply store. You can't walk in there with Nikes and your own name on your shirt. Like, that just does not, they don't take you seriously. They're not going to sell you anything. And I'm trying to convince them, yeah, I'm here to buy chicken feed. No, you're not. And so I've got this whole wardrobe so that I can go to the chicken feed store. You know, it's extremely tight, boot cut, Levi Stratus. I've got a button down polo, which I'm not opposed to the polo. It's just, it's weird buttoning it from the bottom instead of from the top. That's a cultural reference for all my essays. Chicanos and Chicanas out there. Mexicanos por vida. But yeah, but no, it's not even for going to the store. Like, it's also going out, like, to deal with the chickens. You can't just wear your regular clothes. Like, you got to wear other clothes. You can't just wear your house shoes out to let the chickens out. You got chicken poop. You're bringing that inside. I've got a whole second wardrobe because I'm now a chicken farmer. Free chickens, $1,000 in materials to build their house, hundreds of dollars in chicken apparel for me to wear these clothing. It's not adding up to get 8 eggs a week. And then people ask you, what kind of chickens you have? You got the Rhode Island Red. You got the New Hampshire. I got the New Hampshires. They make the prettiest eggs. Everybody wants to know, what are the color of your eggs? How often are your ladies laying? I think these are personal questions, and I don't think people need to know that. Like, look at my ladies are doing fine. They're laying eggs, and I'm eating them. All right. And then one day I'm going to eat the mom with a side of egg, with a side of baby. I'm going to leave you guys on that. Hey, you guys, thanks for having me. It's a weird topic.
Jordan, do you have any for him?
Yeah, I think there's some good stuff in there. Like, where do we start? Okay, when you said your wife is from like backwoods in Oregon, I mean, as soon as I heard Oregon, you think Oregon is a progressive place, and she's from a backwoods place. So there's like a juxtaposition there. You could say like she's from a progressive backwoods Oregon, or something like that. You could play with it somehow. For some reason, I wanted to hear like a specific number when you said, "Oh yeah, we're going to save on our egg budget." So you could say something like, "Oh yeah, we thought we were going to get to save $5 every 2 weeks on eggs, and now I have to spend $1,000." I mean, it's just another way to say that.
Okay. Yeah. No.
Yeah.
I liked all the chicken name stuff. I would sort of explore that as much as you can and bring everything you can out of that. When you described yourself going into the chicken feed store, I sort of thought like I was trying to find a comparison. It's like, hey, now can you imagine DJ Khaled going into a chicken feed store? That's like a bad SNL sketch that gets cut after rehearsal or something like that. I don't know. You could sort of something along those lines. And then sticking with the clothing thing, now I know why farmers dress like shit. Like, they would wear Versace if they could, but they just can't because, chicken farmers would be covered in chicken shit or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, no, like, I mean, especially since you actually farm chickens, I mean, yeah, I think you should work more on this. This is good.
Thank you.
Cool, yeah. How about you, Jesse? You got anything for him?
Let's see here. Okay, so when you mentioned it was just like this quick little throwaway line. You were transitioning and you mentioned like you don't know where your wife's from. It's like, I don't know where the fuck she's from. Like, all I know is that like she's from the sticks. Like, she loves to farm, so we now farm chickens. And I thought maybe there was another way you could pitch that. I don't know where she's from. Someplace they love chickens, but not so close to the Bible Belt that it's scary. Or maybe she was open-minded and just got the hell out of Dodge. Maybe that's why I've never met her parents. I assume she was an orphan. I'm a terrible husband.
I don't care to know the details.
I don't care to know the details. They sound terrible.
She complained about her childhood. Why would I ask her more about it?
Exactly.
Okay.
I saw Deliverance. I think I get it. And then another one you mentioned is how like you were spending $1,000 on a chicken coop, and then you got to spend a couple more $100 on the special clothes so you can handle the chickens. And like, you're an entertainer, so you have another set of clothes that's also expensive, so you can entertain people. And like, that's a lot. So I wrote, I spent $1,000 on something everyone hates. That's troll moves, so I love them. And like, you just go into about how much you love your chickens.
I love my haters.
Exactly. Everyone hates these chickens, but I root for them. I mean, what else did I have here? I can't even read that. So at the end there, you mentioned you get about eight eggs a week from the yield from these chickens. So I thought a nice little tag off would be it adds out to about eight eggs a week. Just go to the fucking store and buy a carton. I promise you, it's cheaper.
Yeah. Well, and I forgot this line. Like, that's not even enough. I'm a family of 6. 8 eggs doesn't even serve us like for a breakfast.
Oh, that's great. That's
and I
great.
forgot to actually punch that one in. So yeah.
And like if you ever want to punch it, like if you ever want to punch it up for like a stage routine, you can literally, because you do farm chickens. I imagine you have chicken jokes.
I actually haven't. This was new territory for me.
That is shocking. You are a fascinating man, Mr. Gomez.
They're chickens.
Man does stand-up comedy, farms chickens, doesn't even touch it once until now. Just like, no, I didn't want to open that chest. It seemed easy.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I have no excuses.
You got any more, Jess, or what?
No, that's all I got.
Well, good job. How about
Thank you,
Dan?
Jess.
Yeah, I like that last bit about I wish you did say that one about the 6 kids or being a family of 6. Like, one of the kids could walk up to you and say, Daddy, is it my turn to have an egg? And you'd be like, we have other food. You know what I mean? So like, okay, once again, as the middle-aged white guy in the group, I have to be very careful here, but like I like that. That's not the kind of Mexican I am, and I thought you could run that like a theme through.
Don't hold back.
Yeah, but no, I like. I wanted to connect it to what Jordan was saying about doing the math, right?
Yeah.
And like you could one thing I know for sure, if you say 100 words in a row, you'll get an applause break at the end of it because people will appreciate the effort. So like you could break it down to like, it was this much for the nails, this much for the wood, chicken wire, do this huge long list of things that it cost you. And but my idea was that you preface it off with like, now I'm not a math doing Mexican. You know what I mean? Like you could keep going through like whatever you were doing. You could run that through a theme for your set. And like anytime you had to react to something, like when you go into the chicken store, like I'm not a brave Mexican or whatever. Or that was the other thing about about working out how. So like you have to work out the equation at the end. So for us to actually make a profit or to break even on these eggs, right, we are going to have to live for 1,000 years or whatever the calculation works out to be, And yeah. So, but what was the other thing? Oh, and where do you live?
Tacoma, Washington.
It's cold there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Put a heat lamp in there. There's some more expense for you because they're spending all their time keeping warm right now. That's why you're only getting 8 eggs. You should be getting 14 eggs a week. Each child should be having 2 eggs a week. Another good math. And like when you go into the store, right? I just love that. Like, for some, like, let's have swinging doors like a Western saloon. You know what I mean? And you walk in and like you go up and you say, hey, can I get some chicken feed? And the guy looks at you and he's like, what are you going to do with chicken feed? I'm going to feed my fucking chickens. Like what?
So like go in like
ritual can you get into with chicken feed,
kind of like I'm looking to get a bag of some weed, like
yeah.
Like,
well, what size of bag you want? Like maybe like 7 grams. What do you got, like a quarter of a chicken over there?
Yeah. Okay,
I don't know, man. I'm new.
Yeah, that would be good. Yeah, I think that's all I had. And
thank you.
Well, thanks, Dan. Yeah, I had a couple things for you too, Joe. Like as soon as I heard chicken farming, I started picturing little chickens with their their little rakes and their little hose, one driving a little tractor. I just started focusing on
chicken farming.
Yeah, the chicken farming. I just thought it was pretty funny to me. Yeah, I liked you're talking about your wife wanted a dog and you negotiated and got 2 chickens instead. And I was thinking you're like a really shitty like dowry negotiator.
Yeah.
What you got for the marriage? So yeah. Anyways, I thought that was pretty good. Well, you said something about you don't. It's bad luck to name a chicken if you're going to eat them, sort of thing. And you ventured off later on, but my first thought was like, yeah, I'm not going to eat the chickens. I'm going to eat their children. That's what's. Focus on the chickens are fine. They're fine. You just got to take their kids away from them all the time. Yeah.
Don't name the eggs. That would be weird.
Yeah. I got your cholo joke. With the button up. It's weird to button up from the bottom. That was pretty funny. Yeah. I laughed out loud and I started thinking of a chicken cholo walk. I can't imitate it, but it would be a funny, like you're trying to cholo walk doing this, and just doing
Something about it.
Yeah. One thing I had chickens when I was growing up as a kid, and one thing I noticed because we didn't really eat a lot of eggs, is that when we forgot about them, the next day a zillion chicks would show up. Just a whole bunch of chickens would always keep showing up. And we're like, shit, I forgot to eat those eggs. And now you're
had a rooster.
having chickens that are like more chickens. And
One of them was clearly a rooster then.
yeah, for sure they were. Yeah. We were too dumb for that. But
You would be surprised how many people.
Who's that really aggressive chicken? Jesus Christ, he almost pecked my eyes out.
People don't understand that like you have to have a male rooster.
Yeah.
In order to fertilize eggs. People like totally are always asking us like, so how does that actually work?
Yeah.
Like you got to refrigerate them right away, right? So that they don't start to become a baby chicken.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Did you
And
not have the
you
talk?
have to tell him where the egg comes out of.
Yeah.
Same place
Just
they get,
fully like, is this my responsibility?
they ain't
Do I
got
have to
no
do this
holes
now?
down there, fucking chicken. They're about
I guess
you.
I guess I should have talked about what happens when my chicken has an egg stuck, and I have to kind of.
Oh, yeah.
the reverse Heimlich maneuver. You're just like,
I'll save it for the Netflix special.
Got to debate when to call the vet for the chickens. Like they fucking multiply. Is it really a loss?
I will never take them to the vet. That's dinner.
They will never know what a doctor is.
No,
Are you fucking kidding me?
Dinner right away. Like, oh, I know what we're
If
having for dinner.
if you so much as limp, I'm going to the store and buying shake and bake.
Actually, I didn't eat eggs during that time because I saw where it came out of. I refused to eat I refused to eat eggs for years because of it. Because it came out as bum. I'm not eating anything out of it. Never
That's funny.
Not even still game for that.
Just fully. You don't understand. I watched it shit that thing out.
Yeah.
You don't eat shit.
Yeah.
That's the first thing you guys taught me.
Hey, we're
That's
comedians.
what we've been
We eat
trying
a
to
lot of
teach the
shit.
dog.
When you take it out of the shell, the shell's the shit protection. The stuff
Yeah.
inside is just fine.
I don't know. I think at that point, like there's no telling a child Keller like that's
No.
that's.
Have you never
it's
Have you
not
never done
happening.
cocaine? Because it's probably traveled in somebody's asshole.
I mean, by that point, I was like 22, 24. Like, I didn't give a shit about the world anymore. I was like, I try actively not to think about the complexities of it now.
That's
As
fair.
a child, that shit was fascinating. But now it's like, I wisen up. That shit's horrifying.
Yeah.
Like, do you honestly want to know that, like, just human trauma that went into, like, getting you tomatoes? Fuck all that.
I think I'm trying now. Let's move on, shall we? We're going pretty long here. So, hey, ever put your hands together for Jordan, everybody? What's your topic, buddy?
My topic is Deadpool.
Deadpool, nice.
And so I'm going to start by saying that I'm not a comic book guy. I've seen the first Deadpool, but I haven't seen the second one. Just for anybody watching who doesn't know, Deadpool is a snarky superhero, wisecracks, talks to the audience a lot. His origin story is that he did a government cancer treatment that went wrong, and now he's got the ability to heal rapidly. And then he also defeats his opponents with either guns or just talking until they get sick of him. Obviously I did my research on Deadpool. I learned a few things. First, I learned that I'm not into comic book lore. These comic book worlds have more history than our actual world. So to those comic book heads who know these origin stories inside out, I salute you. You guys are really committed to never touching women. I learned that Deadpool is actually Canadian. He's Canadian in the comic book. He's a Canadian superhero, which makes perfect sense because Deadpool has rapid healing powers. Like he can heal wounds almost instantly, like regrow his organs. Guys, that's not a superpower. That's just Canadian healthcare. His superpower is socialism. Like all us Canadians heal like that. Like I've been hit by an SUV, 2 buses, a Mack truck, and that's just in 2021. Like the real reason why we don't have as bad a gun problem as the US is because what's the point? Like guns have almost no effect on us. Like a semi-automatic is like laser tag to us. Like in high school, a girl wouldn't get out of gym class by faking her period. She'd either sever a limb or get her friends to riddle her with bullets like the first scene of RoboCop. And by 5th period, she'd be good as new. I also learned that Ryan Reynolds is a method actor. Like he's a sarcastic Canadian guy playing a sarcastic Canadian superhero. It's hard to tell where Deadpool ends and Ryan Reynolds begins. My guess would be the part where he's friends with TJ Miller. I think that's where any rational person would draw the line. Like even Daniel Day-Lewis would be like, okay, I'm dedicated to my craft, but come on, man. Like, I mean, here's how method Ryan Reynolds got. In the comics, Deadpool was romantically involved with the Black Widow, and in real life, Ryan Reynolds was romantically involved with Scarlett Johansson. Like that's beyond Daniel Day-Lewis. That's Greg and Marsha Brady. And it must have really confused. It must have really confused Ryan Reynolds when he couldn't use Deadpool's healing powers to rebuild his marriage.
That's solid.
They could totally use that in the next movie. Like, why don't they? Deadpool and the Black Widow could they could break the fourth wall while breaking a lot of city property. They could have a scene where they reconcile in an episode of Dr. Phil because Dr. Phil is such a tool they'd have no choice but to join forces and destroy them together. Now I'm going to finish with a quick story because Ryan Reynolds and I are from the same hometown, Vancouver. And a buddy of mine not only went to high school with him, but was in the same drama class. So he once told me about this skit where they had to do where they were given a prop and they had to come up with a skit based on it. And their prop was this hot dog cart. And so Ryan Reynolds was playing the hot dog guy. And without telling the rest of his group, he decided that his character was going to be like this child molesting perv with a French accent. So in the skit, the first customer goes up to the cart, and goes, "Hi there, do you have a footlong?" And Ryan Reynolds goes, "Why, yes, I do. Would you like me to put it in your buns?" And everybody just lost it. Like nobody could recover. Like my buddy was supposed to be the second customer, but he's going up there just can barely walk. He's laughing so hard. Like he's laughing worse than Jimmy Fallon in every Saturday Night live sketch he's ever in. Like he just couldn't keep his shit together, and from there the whole sketch just won't fuck up. Just like this set. So that's all I got on Deadpool.
Hey, there we go, Jordan.
Nice.
I thought you got some great lines. I'll let Joe start this time. Joe, you got anything for him?
Oh man, Jordan, I was too impressed to really critique. That was so solid. You did a great job. I did make a couple notes. Comic book history, that's a topic that I really enjoy. I thought one thing that you could do is you were talking about the lineage and the origin stories. I think you could lean into that more, kind of dig into it. You could go more in depth because there's so much conflicting storylines that it even contradicts itself. And so there's different subcultures and it just you could really just rag on that. And that's one of the things that kind of frustrate me about the comic book is so
Yeah, they
into
all
it,
have
and they're like,
multiverses.
"Oh, you're
Like,
into the wrong
every
one."
superhero has like 4 different versions of them. Like Deadpool,
Yeah.
for instance, had 4 different versions where he spawned off into 4 different types of Deadpool. Like one of them could only say pickles or something like that. It's like really weird. But yeah, like
Yeah.
every superhero has like a multiverse. Like yeah.
Yeah, it's
Like,
like,
it's
"Oh, you like
it's
scotch?
too much.
Oh, well, what
Yeah,
kind
you're
of
upsetting
scotch?
Jesse.
Not good
Stop
enough."
it. You're upsetting Jesse. Stop it now.
Oh no,
Really,
no,
not for-
no! I actually had that written down. Is like when he mentioned the comic book history, I was like, a good launch off line for that would flat out say, "I hate comic book lore because I love good writing."
Yeah.
And then you can just go into how comic book writing is truly terrible. Like if you're a hardcore fan of it, it's not a thing you can defend. You're just like, it's bullshit writing. How could you spend your entire life worship to this? Like
and
it's
to
a
be honest, I
terrible
haven't
thing
read
to
enough
choose.
comic books to
You
know
could have
that.
went for Chaucer. That teaches you some philosophy. This is loose based children's stories, bro.
Yeah, my
So, like, and
5-year-old relate.
they don't contextually work. A lot of these are terrible moral choices, and they get rewarded for those things. It's terrible. It's truly terrible.
He's right. Your Canadian superpower bit was so smart, like so good. I have nothing really to add to that, other than the fact that that's great. That had me right there. So
Okay, cool.
Greg and Marcia, that tie-in. I just wrote Greg and Marcia. I can't nail a specific, but that was so good. And then the ability to heal his marriage. That line.
If I ever get hired for a Ryan Reynolds roast, I'm totally using that, or I'm selling it to somebody who's on the dais. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
I thought that was a good roast joke for if somebody ever roasted Ryan Reynolds.
Oh, so good. Like, yeah. So kudos, you killed it. I have nothing to say, but that was great. So,
No, thank
good
you.
job.
How about you, Dan? You got something for him?
Not really. I was thinking about my own set next. No, there was a good joke to be had at the beginning, and I thought that I just thought you needed to get to it quicker. I can't remember what it was though. Go in, like a good comedy is opinion based comedy, right? Like if you can, you don't sit in the middle of the fence. So like if you can go in harsh on an opinion, fucking, I had to study this and fuck me, comic books. Shit, blah blah, whatever you want to say about them, go in as hard as you can, because even if there's people in the audience that really love comic books, they'd have to be pretty fucking stuck up their own asses not to see the funny side of it, right? So
Well, and they'll be paying attention, right?
I thought you had some really good observations in there and a really blunt, nice, quick way of saying them. So that was funny.
Cool, thank you.
How about you, Jeff? Something for him?
I thought it was a fantastic set. I only had a couple of things. Like in the beginning, when you're describing who Deadpool is, I thought like you could like just the way you were like reading it, you could already tell like this is a guy who did not like this. So when you're going through it, like kind of lightly start like picking it apart, like describe 2 things, and then maybe like 10, 20 seconds in, when you get to like, and he goes through cancer treatment and gets super cancer, whatever the fuck that is. I think that's going to be enough to make a person laugh. And like that'll just carry them through into like when you go into like, I did research for this bit, but I'll be honest, I fucking hate comic book lore. Then I also wrote down, I think there is something to Deadpool is like all of his superpowers are just being a super Canadian when you boil it down. Like he's got unbeatable health care. He's likable despite being a tyrannical murderer. And he's clearly insane, just as Canadians are. Like you've seen our government, you've seen the conditions we live in, you see the way we build our cities. We're not stable people. And then I loved you touched on Ryan Reynolds and like just like how he must be doing mentally, and like I like how you start getting into it, like Yeah, he's a method actor. And like I think there's something there where you can just go into, and his last few roles have been serial killers. Like they're good guys, don't get me wrong, but each and every one, a serial killer. He loves playing serial killers. He does method acting. I'm just saying, if Blake Lively goes missing, we should keep an eye out. Like, I definitely think you have a lot to run with there. If like you just want to have a full 5 minutes on Ryan Reynolds' mental instability and why we need to be concerned about that.
Yeah, good job. Yeah, I wrote down a couple things too. I liked your Ryan Reynolds thing. I think you could reword that a bit more, like being like, yeah, Ryan Reynolds plays a sarcastic asshole. Like, what a stress method actor. But, you know, like, I mean, maybe reword it a tad, make it a bit easier. But yeah, but it was a good joke, anyways, right? I mean, anything I tell you is you already got done better than I have. But the Canadian care superhero, that was great. And I also wrote TJ Miller joke had me cracking. That was good. Like, you know, only an ass, whatever it was. I think you could move that up the set a bit more. But and the marriage you couldn't fix that Joe already commented on was great. So he did a really good job. So I want to say that I have a death pool of my friends who's going to die first and last. So just, you know, I don't know if it's common for people to have that, but I have one, and that's.
I'm pretty sure those are illegal. There's a term for it. If you make a bet in a group of people on who dies last, yeah. I'm 100% sure that's illegal. It was a thing from World War II.
Yeah, we weren't betting. Just the person that lives the longest gets cash all the way through. It's only like $5 a head, and no one's gonna actually put money in, so no big deal. It's just a joke.
I mean, that's what they thought too.
Yeah,
they were 90 and they saw the 90 and saw the interest on it.
They're just betting on people's jobs. That was a Private Ryan. Saving Private Ryan job. Horrible.
We all saw that Simpsons episode. We know how this turns out.
Yeah. Well, Jordan, good job. Way to go. Let's introduce the next guy. He loves a big introduction. He's a fabulous guy out of Hamilton, Ontario, which is a beautiful place to live. Unless he moved away, then it'd be a horrible place. So, you know, but please put your hands together for Dan Brennan. And what's your subject?
Yeah, man. That's right. That is a great way to describe life. I like you, Keller. I know you best at all these people. We've been on a show or two before. I don't really know you, but you're a problem solver. You're a man who said, I need a living room curtain and I haven't got one. Yeah. So you took the shower curtain and you stuck it right on up there. That's a solver of problems. You're solution oriented, and I like that. Jesse, I'm sorry to see things haven't quite gone your way since the social network went off the air. Joe, I'm glad to hear that you are Mexican, because when I first saw you, I thought to myself, that guy is the result of a torrid night between Cheech Marin and a garden gnome. And Jordan, I knew from the moment you were on the screen, I'm like, I've seen that guy before. And I remember exactly where it was. You were absolutely fantastic on Broadway as T-2000 in Terminator the Musical. I thought you were amazing. I really do. As you can see, I didn't really prepare anything for my subject, so I thought I'd turn our friendship, and we could talk about the ashes of our friendship, gentlemen, at wakes. That is my subject this week, wakes. I'm starting to feel that these subjects are a little bit stereotyped, because I believe the Irish, which I happen to be of that tribe. Last time it was a classic rock musicians, old musicians, and now it's something to do with the Irish. There's an old saying. I'll steal a joke. Actually, there's an old saying. What's the difference between an Irish wedding and an Irish wake? Does anybody know the answer? There's one less living person at the wake. So it's you can have wakes for all sorts of things, but you normally, like, a wake's supposed to be a celebration of life. So if you didn't like the bastard, chances are you're not going to throw a wake for him. Not everyone in Ireland gets a wake, just like not everyone in New Orleans gets a second line down the main drag there. I'm hosting a bit of a wake at the moment, and I was worried I wasn't going to be able to talk about this subject because it is International Women's Day, and we've managed to shut the women out. Well done, gentlemen. Well done. I was going to have a wake for men in general because I don't know if you've noticed this, but since women learned how to make their own money, they don't really need us anymore. Everybody thought that change was going to happen when they could, like, you know, produce their own sperm in like a little canister in the kitchen next to the coffee. They're like, oh, I feel like being pregnant. I'll just get my canister sperm going. Boom, I'm pregnant. Boom, we don't need men anymore, right? But it's already happened because it's quite sad when you think about it. For like 5,000 years of human history, 5,000 years of marriage and men and women getting together. And it turns out the only reason they were with us was for the money. Now that they can make their own money, they're holding us to such impossible standards that I feel it is the death of men as we know it. My beloved Liverpool Football Club are champions of England. They went 3 years unbeaten at home, and now they've managed to lose their last 6 home games in a row. So I'm quite sad about that. I'm glad that there are no women here. I think that you shouldn't hijack an International Women's Day to talk about soccer, but that's the kind of guy I am. All right, that's all I've got for you, folks. Thank you very much.
Hey, Jesse, you got anything for Dan?
I liked how you opened it up with a bit of a roast. That was great. Like, I definitely didn't see that one coming, but those are solid. I did write. I was writing down Irish wakes and weddings right as you were making the Irish wake and wedding joke, and I was just like, "Fuck," crossing that out.
Yeah, I have to, like that's an old street joke. That's not my joke, right? I was just trying to use it as a way to
exactly. I think I was just about to write like a derivative of that.
Yeah.
But I did end up writing, in Ireland, you don't get a divorce, you get a drinking problem.
Yeah.
I feel like that would have been a good follow-up for that. And at the end there, you had a tagline for, it's International Women's Day, and I know that you shouldn't hijack it for soccer, but that's just the kind of guy I am. And then you should have just went into like some Liverpool stats about like what you're looking forward to in the season, what you missed out on COVID. That could have been like another like just solid minute of just like, oh, forget about the women.
That's the part I forgot to say, that, the pandemic for me started March 16th. So that bastard now owes me 2 St. Patty's Days, right?
I don't know if the liver's going to survive the payback on that.
The joke that I forgot got the biggest laugh. I'm glad I'm on fire these days. Absolutely.
Just pulls out a little notebook quickly. Motherfucker, got to remember that one.
How about you, Jordan? You got for Dan?
No, but I like the premise about men and men becoming more and more obsolete. Like there was actually like a little movie that came out, like there was at like festivals or whatever, that's like about that, and like somehow like women are able to reproduce as well without men. So like men just kind of slowly die off, and we all move to Australia, and we just like hang out there. It's pretty funny.
Back starts, yeah, okay.
Yeah, but like I do think that is a premise that's worth exploring, because we're just becoming more and more useless, and there's less uses for us, to be honest.
We always were like the king of the jungle, the lion. He sleeps 23 hours a day. You know what I mean? Basically just there to be used for sex, and then that's it. I think he might growl a little bit if someone comes close to the den, because they're interrupting his sleep. You know what I mean? Like, so yeah, we're useless. And now that women have figured that out, we're gonna have to up our game. And that's the part that scares me, because I haven't gotten it to begin with. Anyways.
I think everything you just said right there. Yeah. Like, I mean,
you just got me to think of something. We're going more and more obsolete, because, like women, they're coming up with different ways to, infertilize eggs, and we're just not necessary for it, outside of being the factory that produces the sperm.
Yeah.
Now, if only we needed a very invasive surgery in order to like get the sperm out, I think we'd have more of an argument to go with on our end. Because right now it's a very cheerful few pumps, and like we're more than happy to do it.
Yeah.
Like if no one asks us to, we're gonna do it anyway. So at least you're using it for something. Eggs in vitro don't work like that, and it's shitty. Like if a girl could just finger blast a few eggs off for us, I feel like it'd be even game. We need to find a way to even that game out.
This is a conversation for a hookah. That's
Yeah. I don't know if we should be doing this on stream, gentlemen, on International Women's Day.
Yeah.
Ballsy move. Ballsy move.
Joe, do you have anything for George or Dan?
Dan, way to come out swinging. Made me feel like I was back at the comedy club, and Dan just decided to close out all of us. So way to make it feel real. I appreciate it.
Well, I come on these things to meet people from around the world. You know what I mean? So that when I do get to your town, I can sleep on your couch. Yeah. And I come here to write jokes because I want to hear what your premises are and try and write jokes off the back of them. And I don't like this, but I'm gaining a bit of a reputation in roasts. I won the last one that I was in, and like that is such a stark contrast from the first one I ever did, where like the guy did him like the guy. I only knew one thing about him, so I went to that on the first, and he handed a piece of paper to the person in the front row and held the microphone up to them and said, "Can you please read what I've written on that piece of paper?" And they go, "Dan is a complete hack. He will mention that I like NASCAR in his first joke." And I was just like the room fell apart, and I was like, there's like no recovering from that whatsoever, right? So,
no.
This guy even bought his own cheap $5 mic so he could drop it, like.
Nice.
Oh, he was ready.
But you gotta have a go at each other, right? You know what I mean? Like it's just right.
Yeah.
We're just writing jokes,
No, it's
Sorry,
good. It's
No,
good.
I legitimately missed it. It actually did make me feel like I was, back at the open mics. I miss it.
No, and Dan, I love that you roasted me, and hopefully someday you'll feel comfortable enough with me when you come to Seattle. You can stay on my couch, mostly because my kids need a grandpa figure. Because I'm Mexican, we don't know their dad.
I can play that role. If you want to tell him I just got out of jail, I've been watching Ray Donovan this week for the first time. I don't know if you guys know about that. There's an old guy now that gets out of jail. I'll tell him all sorts of stories about like I was a pirate and shit like that. They're like, "Well, fucking, our family's so cool,"
Yeah. Just make it up. Whatever. It doesn't matter.
You and the missus just in the kitchen laughing your heads off. It'll be good.
Yeah.
One thing I will say, Joe, that you don't want to coach because he'll never leave. He'll stay there for months.
Just after 4 weeks, Dan, we got to talk about the rent situation. You're taking up room on utilities now.
Is there any room in the chicken shed?
Yeah.
It is funny. Dan's color of his wall actually matches Jesse. So Jesse,
we're in the same place.
That's just
I feel like you are in the other half.
Same condo. It's a beautiful layout. Really, they do great things with the flooring.
Yeah.
No, but Dan, it was fun, and your insight tonight has been great. So good job. Thank you.
Cheers, man.
Yeah. Jesse, you went already, right?
Yeah, I've already gone.
Yeah. Dan, I went into complete panic mode because my jokes that I was doing the next set was on wakes. So I was like, "Oh my god, what am I gonna do now?" I was like, right away, just scrambling to write things down, like shit. So
why was your next one on wakes?
Because I have some wake jokes I wanted to retry differently, and
oh really? You and me, Keller. You and me.
Like writing down stuff to get away. Like,
so what's better, your tried and tested wake material, or the stuff I just came up with after thinking about it today?
Yeah.
Shots fired.
Yeah. Pretty much it. Yeah, mine are best, but yeah, it was.
He mentioned he was scrambling, right? Like he was no longer confident after this.
Yeah, but no, good job. It was pretty funny. I love the roasting too. I got to remember that every time I introduce you, I should really be roasting you more because you get me every time.
Dig in, buddy. I am giving away so much material. I'm surprised it hasn't occurred to you before.
Yeah. Shit, both freebies. Awesome. Yeah, so thank you so much. Another round of applause for Dan, everybody. Good to go.
I just need to take a 2-minute break.
Right. this is the second portion of the show, folks. The 0 people watching, but maybe some will watch later, where we do our own jokes and we then critique our own stuff, and we all get 3 to 5 minutes. So it's my turn again. We'll go in the same order. I will not do my wake jokes, thank you, Dan. But I will talk about I have a utilikilt. Joe, you know what that is? It's a Seattle thing, a utilikilt.
I do.
Most people don't know what it is. It's just a carpenter's tool belt that's a kilt, basically. You have it's awesome. It's got it's hard canvas and hammer holders and all sorts of pockets. I absolutely love I got it from Seattle, where my family's from. I love wearing it in Canada here. And the funniest thing to me all the time is all these guys are trying to rib on me about it, making jokes and everything else. And I'm always like, yeah. And then later on, they speak up to me separately, and all of them sleep up and go, "Hey man, where'd you get that? I love it." And I'm like, you can't fucking just make fun of me then ask where it's from. I'm like, you can't go admit to those other fucking guys. But the funny thing about this kilt is that I wear it all the time. I love wearing it every weekend. I wear it around. And I didn't know some things about the utilikilt that I was brought to wear. So I was down on Granville Street, which is a busy place in Vancouver, and I was out there kind of hanging out with my wife. Went to this expensive shoe store she loves called Flu Bugs. I don't expect anybody to know what it is, but it's fancy dancy shoes, and all the ritzy shit in Vancouver. And we go down there, and right away I walk in, and the guy selling the shoes goes, "Hey, nice utilikilt." I'm like, "Oh my God, you named it by name. You named the brand." I was like, "Oh, that's awesome." I was like, "Thanks, man." I'm pretty high enjoying. He goes, "Yeah. My boyfriend had 3 of them. I should have stolen when we broke up." Like, "Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Hey, can I ask you a question though?" He goes, "Sure." I was like, "Hey, the only 2 people ever recognize this have been gay guys. Can I ask you why?" He goes, "Oh yeah. It's a total fetish thing." I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, it's a total fetish thing. Big, burly, bearded guys wear us around to the clubs all the time. It's a big thing." I'm like, "Bears?" He goes, Yeah, that's a thing, wearing bears." And I started thinking, oh my God, how many times I've been wearing this and been hit on, and I had no idea it was a fetish thing. Oh my God, it's like I've ever been in this bar one time with my friends, comedians, and I was there. It was, of course, a gay bar. We're just there. It was a karaoke bar, which is the best karaoke bar you can find, because I had a separate room that was glass off for sound, so you didn't have to listen to anybody. And that's the best karaoke bar, not listen to people. So I had to sit out by myself while they're karaokeing in this bar, and I didn't know I was getting hit on. I realize it now. They're just guys winking at me, being so nice to me all the time. One guy came up to me offered to show me where the bathroom was. I'm like, "Oh no, I don't have to go yet." He's like, "You sure?" I'm like, No. And anyways, that's somehow that's going to turn into something. And I just lost it halfway through. Let's do a different thing here. You guys, I listened to this podcast called Lexington Valley, which is a speech. It's all about speeches and a language and everything else. And it's interesting. It's an American show, and it's really boring, but it's interesting. This one thing someone wrote in and asked, "Hey, what was the accent the founding fathers had of the states?" And you typically think it's English, right? That'd be most likely. The people came over the states had English accents. And this guy started going in detail how in the 1800s, the English language changed, how the accent changed, because all the pompous, elites started changing it to sound different than the bottom barrel, English scum, I guess. They wanted to sound different, right? So they started making it fancier. Then all the English started copying them, and they all want to be that way. But the real, English accent in the 1700s was the Boston accent. That's a true thing. So that's how they sound. They found it a Boston accent. And since then, I cannot imagine Roman movies. They're always in English accents. I'm just keep thinking, "I am Spartacus, kid." I just keep thinking that. Anyways, I wish I had more Spartacus lines to it, but that's all I got for today, guys. It's just the premise, a rolling premise. So thank you very much. Yeah. Jesse, do you got anything? It's a bit of a drivel on. I know that. I'm sorry.
Oh no, I really enjoy that. I enjoy stand-up comedy where I feel like the comedians just having a conversation with me, and the premises are literally just these whatever thoughts you were having at this time. I love that kind of stand-up. So I feel at the end there where you were doing famous movies with offhanded characters.
Yeah.
Do you do a lot of impressions?
No, I like copying people's accents, but not impressions of people.
Oh, you should work on a few impressions, just because I feel like a funny premise would be just wrong accents in different movies. I feel like you could just do a full set on that.
Yeah.
Where like if you put like De Niro's voice in something like Frozen,
Yeah.
and like just that hardcore like Scarface accent as like the snowman in Frozen, I think that would just be fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
And when you're talking about the two belt and being flirted with during the karaoke, I feel like there's a part you can go with there. Just fully own it and just go. I'm not gonna lie. At that moment, I felt rather man pretty. I got it. The whole bear with the toolkit thing. I know I was fetishizing, but at that same point, maybe OnlyFans. It's an option.
Actually, that I couldn't remember the ending of that story, and that was what it was. I was like, I was all blushing and shit like this. Yeah, I couldn't remember it, and I just.
I have an audience outside of comedy.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Thank you. Well, Joe, do you got anything?
Actually,
1 second. Call it the stripping bear. Call it the stripping bear. Just you doing stand up while wearing the toolkit and stripping. You'll get an audience. You'll get paid. It'll be fine. Sorry, last thing.
No. I was just picking back off of that, Jess. Like that's where I kind of focused in on what you were saying. I thought that that you could just lean into the wearing a skirt or whatever you call it to explain how you like the feeling, whatever. I'm sure Dan will come to your defense about it. But no, I love the Utilikilt. I think it's great. I love that it's Seattle based. I just so like lean into it and be like, yeah, it was so empowering. Like once I knew, like I could control, like I walk into a room and it's just all eyes on me. It's just, guys are buying me drinks, my wife doesn't understand what's happening. She doesn't like this role reversal, and it's and I just think you should just go into it, and you can do a niche thing and start your own TikTok, bears and Utilikilt. So if you start that and you start making money, you got to let me know.
Yeah, you can be on with me. How's that sound?
Let's get it.
How about you, Jordan? You got anything for me?
Just a couple little things. Like at the very beginning, when you talk about the Utilikilt and you talked about how it had a hammer holder, my mind immediately went somewhere dirty. I made it so you could do something there, and then you could even call it back when the guys start hitting on you, like, oh, he definitely wanted to tear me a new hammer holder, something like that. I love anything with a Boston accent. Like it's just the most fun accent ever. Like if I had a choice of accents to have, I'd want a Boston accent. And like I think develop that bit for sure. Like get a good act out going. I mean, I can't think of a specific movie, and this isn't even the right technically the right time period. But the first thing, like what's the most wrong movie to have Boston? Like I thought of Little Women. And everybody in Little Women talking in Boston accents, The
Color Purple.
And it's not accurate time wise, but like something like that. I definitely think there's something there. So just work on that and get a good act up going. I think you'll get a lot of laughs.
Juliet, wherefore art thou, Juliet? Bitch,
get
to the window.
That's earlier. Shakespeare's 1500s, so you got to research the time period.
I love Old English as Boston. Fuck, I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to let that go. That's going to be what I take from this experience.
It's the same. It's the same of the French language in Quebec. People in Paris hate talking to the French in Quebec because the language is 300 years removed from what they're now speaking in Paris, right? It was isolated. I obviously didn't catch that, Keller, so I'm not going to pretend and waste everybody's time. But I think you've heard me say this before. Like, I don't know what it's like on your scenes, but I don't know anyone around here who's doing impressions. You know what I mean? Like, voices are one thing, but like impressions. And I think anytime you're going to do a voice or a Boston accent, if you can build it out like Jordan was saying, or however that idea generated from this group of just applying it to as many different movies as you possibly can. I think there's some real merit in that. I think there is.
That's another thing you could do is you could just take like the most famous quote from a bunch of movies from that area and then just rapid fire do them, and like that's another way to do it. Like the Patriot, like all the movies that take place in that area, and just rapid fire like
Yeah,
I'll never take away our freedom, like something something like that,
yeah,
you can't handle the truth.
You can't always get away with. You'd have to be careful because you can't always get away with a quote.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you may have to describe the movie a little bit. Like, how would a Boston accent have changed? I can't even think of a movie.
Yeah, like we all have to do research.
How would
Christ.
a Boston accent have changed straight out of Compton? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, or something like that, you know?
Yeah, that would
Like I'm just thinking of those iconics, like instant, really recognizable lines. Like it's got to be
I'm
that.
thinking
real-
with Boston, like it like go with like far back reaching period pieces where like you needed like a strong English accent to sell it. And I feel like if you put a Boston accent in there, no matter what movie you pick, as long as that's the theme, it's gonna break those lines to a point where you can't help but laugh if you know that movie.
Yeah. I guess you could do James Bond quotes because
Exactly. I'm Bond, James Bond. What's it to you?
Taking
I
that
want a
spirit,
Pabst Blue Ribbon. Not shaken, not stirred. Don't put that shit in a glass.
Yeah.
Just give me the can.
Because you gotta get those standard words like park and yard in there and stuff. So James Bond's such a great juxtaposition, right? With the pause. Yeah, of course I'm not going to attempt to do a Boston accent, but like that. Yeah, of course that's my Aston Martin parked over in the yard, and
Yeah.
I love it.
like who else drives an Aston Martin? Huh? Tommy, who else up there?
Yeah, there's so many possibilities to go with it. Funny.
Yeah, who the fuck's running around Southie in an Aston Martin? Huh?
Damn apples. Yeah. Well, thank you guys very much. We'll move on from me, and we spent a lot of time on that. So, yeah, thank you a lot, guys. Thanks for great input for me. How about we go with Jesse? You ready, Jesse?
Yeah, I think I'm ready. So I'm just going to try to polish up my stand-up for open mics and such when they open back up in the next month here. I'll get it started right quick. I shouldn't be a father. Look at me. Give me a quick once-over. Yep, you haven't been mistaken this whole time. The glasses, only one arm. I'm not a responsible individual. When I roll out of bed in the morning, that was the challenge. Challenge completed. If you threw children on top of that, I'd just be dealing with cases of neglect. For lawyers, I can't afford. I don't need that. I feel like it being Women's Appreciation Day, single mothers, they don't get enough respect. I personally have dated a lot of single mothers. Why? Again, look at me. I seem like the type to date a single mother. They're very strong, resilient women. They deal with a lot of crap from assholes like me, irresponsible people who do not have their shit together. So, they fall victim. Why? Because they have a child. And we've mistaken that as necessity. We have been mistaken. You see, gentlemen, unless you bring something that's actually interesting outside of a paycheck or your penis to a relationship, that relationship is ultimately doomed. These are things I've learned in my wiles over my 20s. Hence why I do stand-up comedy at open mics. You're welcome. Now, some things we can do to rectify this. Have some ambitions. Have some goals. Meet said goals and ambitions. How do we go about this? I personally heard the recommendations of get off your ass, go get a job, stop eating my children's Lunchables. Again, this list does continue, but you get the gist. Gentlemen, I propose that perhaps we're not as independent as we thought. Perhaps we are not the masters of our own kingdom, but that kingdom is in fact to be shared. So perhaps we need to stop seeking out our mothers in younger, fuckable forms. Sigmund Freud was disproven, and we need to stop giving him such ammunition. Well, I feel like we've all learned from tonight. I've shared. You've listened. My name's been Jesse Gillette, and that was my stand-up comedy routine.
Hey. Jesse. Who'd like to start? Jordan?
Sure. I really like the premise. Like, I should not be a father. Like, I'm kind of in the same boat, and it's not the same as yours, but like, yeah, not all of us should be fathers. Yeah, so I think that's I like the premise, and yeah, just keep exploring that. I really liked the Lunchables joke. That was probably my favorite one. And then I just liked your description of we need to stop seeking out our mothers in a younger, more fuckable form. So yeah, like just take those and see if you get see if you can tag them and expand them or whatever. But those two were my favorite.
Perfect, thank you.
How about you, Joe? Do you have anything for Jesse?
Yeah, good set, Jesse. Single moms. I wrote down single moms. Why did I write down single moms? I don't remember. I don't remember why. What did you say?
Is it just single moms? Just the phrase single moms?
That's all I wrote down. Just like single moms.
I said single moms are strong, independent, but they often get mistaken for need or having a need, or like somewhere where you can slide in as a scummy person.
Yeah. So I think I was just going off the fact that that you should just tell single moms, like in correlation with not being dad material, you're not even stepdad material. Just call me when the kids are away for the weekend.
Yeah.
I don't need to be the guy that you're calling, because it's your weekend with the kids and we're going to the zoo, because I'm not going to the zoo. I'm not going to monster truck rallies. I'm not with the kids.
Oh, that'd be good. Like, list off 2 or 3 things that you wouldn't go to.
Yeah.
And that's something or like maybe like the wrestling's in town. Okay, like I'm coming to the wrestling for sure.
Yeah.
But
I'm going to my family's for Christmas. I like that Christmas. It's the Christmas I'm used to. Your family can't come.
Yeah.
They will ruin that Christmas.
your family Christmas is not part of my Christmas tradition. Yeah.
For those 3 weeks out of the year, we don't know each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
Once again, pretty harsh on Women's Day, but there you go.
I mean, is that not the point of comedy, in order to exaggerate the tragedy to a point of hysterical?
Certainly. Sorry, Joe, I don't mean to jump in and cut anybody off there.
No, sure. You got a cool accent. It's fine.
Oh, do I? Thank you. I've just been testing it out. I'm auditioning for the new James Bond.
Canadian James Bond.
Oh, as you know, they're going in a new direction. This new movie's called Quantum of Retirement. So sorry.
Another white guy.
I'm doing my own material. Sorry. Hey, now that I've heard you present, Jesse, your own material, you do have that presentation style. Short sentences. The one thing I would try and cut out, because you got a really good laugh with the Lunchables, and then you. And once again, I don't want to sound too harsh, but you waffled, and we all do this with words like "you get the gist," and there's other examples. Nah, just cut out all that dross. You know what I mean? Like, the last word should always be the punchline, right? So, just cut that stuff out and motor on the way you're doing it. Because I think
so. Just keep it analytical.
Yeah, that's the word. That's the word for your style. It's very dry.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm aiming for. That dry humor where it's just like, is he actually joking?
Yeah, no,
and like, you'll either get the joke or you won't,
Yeah. And obviously none of us are polished here. But is there the other thing I was thinking of, is there an opportunity to talk about how you make this clear on your online dating profile? Is there things you could put in the pictures that make it clear that you do not want to be involved with kids on the weekend?
There was something Joe said actually to that respect, where he mentioned I shouldn't be a dad or a stepdad for that matter. And it got me thinking, and I was just like, maybe I could use that and then put on a lariat. Like for my Tinder, I think maybe I should put the tagline as not great parent material, but adoption, maybe.
Yeah, well, you can't come out.
Like I need a caregiver.
You
Like
can't come out and
I
say,
feel like with that bit, like the more you debase yourself, the better it gets.
yeah, but like you can't. But my thought on the dating profiles, right, was something more along the lines of, I'm really subtle about how I let them know I don't want kids on my dating profile. Like on Tinder, it says, not allowed 250 feet within a school or a public library. That's going to weed out the ones with kids. You know what I mean? Like, and more right?
Oh God, this is gonna sound twisted, but I used to have this stand-up character, and the entire premise, or it wasn't stand-up, but it was more like a sketch stand-up kind of deal. But the character, it would like just be this cold guy towards children in a daycare, and like when I got too out of hand, the big punchline was, "Hey, listen to me, you little shits. I ain't afraid to kill a child." It's just like put something like that on your Tinder, and whichever single mom's gonna follow through with that psycho. Like she doesn't give a shit about those kids. You're fine.
Don't want to get pregnant.
Great dad.
Yeah, I had some notes for you too. There,
Those kids are raising themselves, man. You're not co-parenting shit.
I wrote down some things there too that were kind of some guys outlined and were better than I was. So the one thing I did, like you guys actually, Dan ripped on a T-bit, but so I'm not great of a father, and I wrote down, but I'm one heck of a dog sitter. That's
oh my God, that's an amazing one. I could go into like I'll just sit there and I'll cuddle them all day. I even have dog material I could go into. I'm gonna write that down because that's actually a good transition.
That's awesome.
You got fun stuff there. Also, like you wouldn't want to be, you don't want their kids around because it cuts into your video game time. You're not sharing, so I'm not playing with.
I mean, that's not a joke. That's literally a reason why not to have children. They cut into your free time.
Now you tell me.
Well, it didn't really work out too well, but I thought it was a funny little thing. Is when my kid was about 12, he came up and started bugging me about Minecraft. Not Minecraft. One of these fucking video games where they buy all this skins and stuff like that, different bodies and stuff like this.
Fortnite.
Was that?
Nothing. Carry on. So it might have been Fortnite.
Yeah, it's Fortnite. That's what it was. Fortnite. And
the middle-aged guy knows.
Yeah, he was talking about like wanting a different skin and everything. I'm like, well, for $15, why would you want it? And he's like kind of shy about it. And then he finally goes, I go, but like, why? I was kind of pressing him, and he goes, well, I don't want to be a noob, Dad. And he started going on. I was like, here's the money, kid. I don't want you to be a noob either. Just thought it was kind of remind me of that premise. Yeah, it's kind of funny. So, well, good job, Jesse. Way to go. I think you got some good stuff to go on there. So, one thing I was going to say, one thing I saw a bit of a flaw, if you don't mind me saying, is that when
please.
You're probably doing a lot of open mics, but really open mic is preparing for a real show. So when you make a joke like being, I don't remember how it went, but being kind of a loser, that's why you go to open mics. You spend all your time at open mics. Audience isn't going to care about that, right? Like a real audience. So I would probably try to ditch that sort of stuff, right? Because it's.
I mean, I
know what you mean.
I'm not gonna lie. I am a loser who spends all of his times at open mics. I'm very selective about it's kind of my hobby.
We all are.
We know that.
Yeah.
We should be.
Yeah, we know that as comedians, but like an audience probably doesn't.
They don't know that.
So,
I guess that's more a joke for comedians. I'm not gonna lie. I'm used to playing to a room that's mostly like comedians, and then there's audience who went to go see comedy. Yeah. And it's just like you're brave. Although it's $5 a ticket, how can you lose?
You're at the beginning of the journey, but like one day you'll be at a comedy festival, and all those comments about how shitty the open mic is, or doing jokes at an open mic, that's all time you could have been working on material that you could have done at that comedy festival or on that Carson set. You know what I mean?
That's fair enough.
The only reason I say that is because a senior comedian, a guy who makes his living here in Canada doing comedy, that's what he told me. He's like, if you spend your time bagging on the open mic or talking about the open mic, those are precious seconds that you'll never ever get to use. It. The example he used was the Winnipeg Comedy Festival, and I said, you think?
No, that's a solid point.
Yeah.
No, they're like in Calgary that we have similar events where like even if I get to participate a little bit, I get all fanboyish, and you have a very solid point
Yeah,
where
yeah,
like use every second on that stage because that's your time. That's all you're gonna get.
yeah, yeah.
But Dan, you're speaking some great truth tonight.
Well,
Yeah.
this is what I do. This is what I do. Unless there's a
Hey,
lawyer.
that's one of the nice things about the like about the workshop is like you do get to pick the ears on some seasoned professionals.
Yeah.
I'm not a seasoned professional. I don't think,
You
do
tell Dan not a seasoned professional.
but I will. But I will. One day I will. One day when it's like Buddy Guy in the '80s, I'll be playing for 5 people, but it'll be a pro gig.
They all paid money for tickets. That's what's important.
That's it. Sorry. Let's carry on.
Yeah, let's keep moving. Good job, Jesse. Joe, are you ready?
Yeah, sure. Why
Let's give
not?
a round of applause to Joe, everybody.
Oh, thanks, guys. Hey, Dan, you keep saying that you're the middle-aged guy.
Yeah.
I don't think you understand how age works, brother. I don't want to be the one to break it to you. You're more late in life, my friend. No, Dan, you've been great tonight, man, and I've just been having a fun time listening to you. You dropping a lot of bombs, so I had to razz you a little bit.
Absolutely.
So thanks for being here. What did I want to talk about tonight? I'm just kind of working. I've got some new stuff that I've been working on, and I just wanted to say some of that. I think I need to talk about TikTok. I'm sure Dan is a huge TikToker. I think his demographic is probably he would reach well because there's a lot of young girls who like to, reach out to older men such as himself that I think they call him sugar daddies. He looks like he plays the part with those blue glasses. So I'm just saying, Dan must be on TikTok. I'm on TikTok. TikTok is a weird beast, but here's a little tip about TikTok. Don't TikTok and drive. I mean, you can make a TikTok and drive if you want because you deserve what you get if you crash and die. Like I don't feel bad for you. But how weird would it be to like rear end somebody and your phone flies off the dash? And it's just stuck on one of those stupid TikToks, it's like the bus it challenge or the silhouette challenge. And you can just hear the sexy music playing in the background. And you know that it's some chick stripping down to some sexy outfit to do this tiki-talkie. You can't see it. It's just out of hands reach. It's just playing over and over and over. And now the first paramedics that come to you have to see that this is what you're looking at on TikTok. And you're like, no, I didn't want to see that. It's just the algorithm is weird. You start blaming things like you actually know what the algorithm means. It's just something you heard on like the Matrix. TikTok is weird. Dr. Seuss is a hot topic. It really frustrates me. People are all mad that he's been canceled. Canceling Dr. Seuss. No. Here's what's happened is a private company has decided that they're not going to publish his books anymore because it's for financial gain. This is capitalism. The same people who are upset about cancel culture are the ones who love to perpetuate capitalism. I think the real reason that they're angry is Dr. Seuss books is like the highest level of reading that they've reached. And they're just upset that like a third of his catalog has just been discontinued. So vacations were always weird for me growing up. I don't know about you guys. You all probably came from good, upstanding, well, middle class families, not me. Going on vacation for me was always weird. I never went to any high fancy locations. If I was going to Hawaii, I was going because I had a distant second cousin or something who lived there, and it's just a place that we could flop. You don't stay at a resort, you stay at somebody's home. It's ridiculous. I hate vacationing. People are like, oh, I went to Disneyland. Yeah. Well, I know where all the Home Depots in Orange County are. basically because I was working with my uncle doing construction over summertime. So, hey, you guys have been great. Thanks for listening to my new shit.
Yeah.
I liked your right away bugging Dan about being a sugar daddy. I think he's more of a splendid daddy.
Artificial all the way, Daddy.
Oh, that's good.
Liked your TikTok stuff. It reminded me of the porn. You erase your computer or whatever. They delete my cookies or whatever your search history. I like that thought pattern with a TikTok. That's pretty funny, dropping it and everything. That was great. So really good job, man. I don't have a lot to add to what you had. So well done.
Thank you.
Jordan, what do you got for him?
Well, for starters, Dan is middle-aged if he plans to live to 200. That qualifies. So, like when you're talking about TikTok, I like that premise. It reminded me of like all the people who died taking a selfie. If you die while taking a selfie, you deserve it. So you could maybe link those two or something like that, or find an analogy or whatever. I don't know much about the Dr. Seuss situation, but as you're doing that bit, I thought, what if you just wrote, like, even if it was just like 4 lines, like a short Dr. Seuss style poem, either talking about cancel culture or the fact that it's bullshit that Dr. Seuss was canceled. That might be a fun sort of addition to put in there, just like a quick Dr. Seuss style poem, like Green Eggs and Hammer.
Just a little rhyme, yeah. Okay, yeah. That's great, actually.
Yeah, I actually like the selfie stuff too. I was just thinking how you can make some kind of riff about them if they're going to dance into traffic. That's their problem. Because around TikTok dancing continuously, I just thought the thought of it.
The new morbid habit of finding TikTok final moments.
Yeah.
Like the moment before someone dies for a TikTok video.
Yeah.
How did you go viral? Well,
yeah.
I fell off my roof making a TikTok.
I was holding the camera while my cousin.
I dug it straight into traffic. Yeah. It was.
I took Ghost Ride the Whip.
I was holding the video while my cousin was doing the dance.
I Ghost rode the whip right over my own ass.
Into a ditch, right?
TikTok live.
Go ahead, Dan.
Sorry, no, I've lost the thread of that one, and I wrote something here. I've broken my pen while we've been working away. There's something you said about TikTok that I wanted you to explore at the beginning. I think it was maybe your definition of what TikTok was, or something about the generation gap between the younger people. But I wanted you to I thought you could take it off on a tangent a lot deeper than that. And I like the vacation stuff because vacations are very relatable to people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, thank you.
But all those summers working, while everybody was out playing, I'd like to see what happened to that money. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's just me. But I think you can have some fun with that because, I think you're talking there about the immigrant experience, right? Like if you're working a construction job and all that kind of thing. And I think you could have a lot of fun with that as well. Now that you're second generation and you're able to broadcast from, well, wherever that is,
My bunker.
Your bunker. There you go. The man cave, right? So, yeah, good stuff. Good stuff.
Thanks, Dan.
Yeah, I'll just mention too, because Dan reminded me, like I did like that Home Depot punch. That was a good joke, and so you could even add something like, "Oh yeah, I spent my summer at the at the good Home Depot in Reseda," or something like that. As if there's a good Home Depot.
Yeah.
North Hollywood, yeah.
Or like there could be like all sorts of different vacations. One was doing construction. You know what I mean? Like, and then we had other relatives in Texas. I don't know what you did there.
Yeah, no, I have an uncle in Eastern Washington, and we picked apples one year.
There you go.
3 weeks picking apples. But I like that you were talking about like and I made money. What did you do?
Yeah.
You spent daddy's money. I made money. I came back to school in 6th grade. I bought a pager. That's not a joke.
Yeah, right. You wasted your money. What the fuck is a grade 7 and grade 6 need a pager for?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, okay. I'll let my imagination run wild there.
Or if you want to self-deprecate, you could even say like, yeah, while you spent your whole summer spending money, I spent my whole summer making money, and I'm still the poorest kid in my class.
Yeah. And like, or you could say, yeah, I like
I
that.
can pay for my school lunch.
Yeah, or you could be like, I bought a pager in grade 6, and I don't know if you know this, but back then, if you had a pager, that was a license to run girls and sell drugs.
Exactly. Yes.
Like that was the key component. That was the pager, not the other way around. Yeah.
I would actually.
And it wasn't even activated.
Hmm.
It was just the pager.
Yeah.
It took you your second summer to get it activated.
Yeah.
I would even throw in something towards the all you can eat apples sort of thing. You made money and all you can eat apples or whatever it was for lunch or whatever. Jesse, what do you
baby.
Joe?
I had a couple of things. Dan's blue glasses make him look like the world's most progressive conservative pimp.
Pager.
You mentioned this little bit that was kind of a throwaway, but I feel like you could elaborate on it. You mentioned the TikTok algorithm, right? And how it'll just pop up with really embarrassing things.
Yeah.
I think you should just do a full thing about the algorithm trying to ruin your life and like popping up inopportune things at horrible moments. Okay. It turns your like Facebook feed into just like this just this terrible fucking thing to look at. Your wife gets a peek over your shoulder. She's trying to divorce you now. The children think you're a Nazi, even though you're Mexican. It's terrible.
I like that idea. You could even like personify the algorithm. Like, my algorithm hates me for some reason. I don't know what I did to it.
My algorithm's a racist. It loves Donald Trump. It wants me to go storm the Capitol.
Yeah, I'm on alt-right.
MapQuest.
I'm on alt-right TikTok.
Yeah, I didn't download that shit. The algorithm just thought I'd be into it. I don't get it.
That's where I thought you could go on a big tangent when you mentioned the algorithm. And you said something like, "Don't come at me like you know what the algorithm is." Do you know what I mean? Like, people do. They use that word now.
Like
it's the algorithm.
Isn't that like a guarded industry secret of like what the algorithm actually is like comprised of and what its like motives and functions are?
Algorithms, as I understand it, it's just math, right? It's just a form of math, right?
Yeah, but it's guarded formulas that like if you were to like divulge. It's crazy, man. It's absolutely nuts.
It's the 21st century of the man. It's back then, back in 1990, we had the man. Who's the man? He's the man. You got to be scared of the man. Now it's the algorithm. What's the algorithm? The algorithm's gonna get you.
Yeah. It turns out
the idea people are too stupid. Like don't come at me. You know what the algorithm is.
Just fully.
You're like you ask someone to explain what the algorithm is, and they're like, I don't know, man. It's a computer thing. It just controls everything, man.
Yeah. Doesn't that make you feel uncomfortable that you don't know what controls everything?
I could explain actually.
It's like a God we made, but we can explain about as much as that as we can God. That's not good.
I could actually algorithm is, but only Jordan would understand it, so there's no point. So listen,
I had a third point, the Dr. Seuss thing. I wrote Dr. Seuss ain't canceled. No one forced shit. They just made a call as a private entity, just like Walmart when they kicked you out.
Fair enough. It's good. Roast fest all of a sudden. We turn Monday roast battles.
That's right. Yeah, for everybody tuned in, if you like it, let them know.
We'll repeat them. Well, I guess we're done. Any more input for Joe? You guys all good? Cool. Awesome. We'll move on to Jordan. Jordan, are you ready?
Rock and roll.
A little round of applause for Jordan, everybody.
The last that I was talking about superpowers. I have the power invisibility, but it only works on women in bars and salesmen at Best Buy. I was reading up on gaslighting. Now, for anyone who's not familiar, when someone gaslights you, they get you to constantly question yourself. Like they constantly undermine you, and after a while, you start to undermine yourself. And as I'm reading this, it just hit me like a ton of bricks. Oh my God, I've been gaslighting myself. Like I'm constantly discrediting my own thoughts, my own feelings, my own memories. And I was going to stop, but then I realized that none of it ever happened, and I was wrong for ever feeling that way. Because gaslighters, they manipulate you to the point where you rely on them to do your thinking for you. And guys, I'm like 100% dependent. I let me do like all my thinking. It's fucked up. You know, my sister's like, Jordan, why do you do this? Like, why do you beat the living shit out of yourself? Well, to be brutally honest, it's because bullying feels really good, even when you're also the victim. Like, because as a victim, I know for a fact that deep down my bully is a coward. And as a bully, I know for a fact that that little shit wiener deserves it. I mean, it's the one situation where the bully and the victim get each other. Like, the best example is when I cyberbully myself. Like, anytime I got to send something from my personal email to my work email, I always put some message in the body like, I hate you so much. Fuck you for existing. And every time I read it, I'm just like, nice. I know he's only half joking, but oh, he got me. Like, how would I even stop bullying myself? Like, as a victim, do I say I'm going to stop blaming myself and put the blame where it really belongs, on myself? You know, I'm not the problem. I'm the problem. Because I'm a wonderful person, and I'm an asshole for doing this to me. Like, I mean, I could try doing more positive self-talk. The problem I have with doing self-empowerment exercises is it makes me one of those people who do self-empowerment exercises. You know, like saying I like myself makes me hate myself. Like, do you really want me to leave myself a voicemail like, hey, Jordan, it's Jordan. I just called to say that you are superific. Hanging out with you is a blast. You're more fun than a bounce house on top of a trampoline. I am so grateful that I get to be you, so do me a favor. Keep being awesome. Like, who the fuck is this douchebag? Like, am I supposed to take him seriously? Like, do any of you guys know how to block your own phone number? Like, I'm in a good place, okay? I hate myself just the right amount. Like, I think people should feel a little bit bad about themselves. Like, not like eating ice cream while crying in the shower bad, like, but just enough for it to motivate you to do good things. Like, it's like I'm treading water just below the surface. So I got to work a little harder to prove that I'm not a bag of garbage. You know, I find myself holding doors for people, like letting people off of elevators, leaving a threatening note on my boss's windshield instead of slashing his tires. You know, like I keep going up, you know, for gasps of self-worth. Like, it's like if I give this pregnant lady my seat on the bus, I can feel adequate for like 10 minutes. You know, I'm essentially microdosing on self-esteem. You know, like it's enough to get by, but not so much that it becomes a problem. Like, because if I get complacent, like I can still sink to the bottom at any time. Like all I have to do is block one escalator or film one thing in portrait mode. You know, so at the end of the day, though, like to me, feeling empowered is like skydiving. I'd like to try it once before I die. And that's what I got tonight.
Hey, way to go. Good ender. Dan, you got anything for him as you prepare?
Oh God, it's getting late, and as you guys have rightly pointed out, I am ancient. So I've got one thing to say about the very beginning of your set, and I don't know. As soon as you mentioned gaslighting, I thought you could say, "Do you know what gaslighting is? It has nothing to do with setting your own farts on fire, as I painfully discovered." You know, something like that. But yeah, you got a really good ability to write a joke, man. And to take an opinion. So that'll always serve you well. I hope this once again doesn't come out like I'm having a go at you, but you honestly look like your hairline has come back a little bit during this conversation. I don't know if you're thinking lowering the chair and we're getting you at a different angle or what, but that's I think where we're at there. Yeah. Okay.
Good.
That's all I got for you, bud.
So,
Jordan's he's the Canadian Bill Bohr.
I was about to say, like Jordan gives me such hardcore Bill Burr vibes. Like I feel like he's gonna be our answer for Bill Burr in like 5 years. It's just like, fuck you, we got one too.
that's high praise. Like Bill Burr is one of my favorites. So thank you.
Just
You listen to Monday morning podcast? Do you? Do you listen to his Monday morning podcast?
I haven't heard much of it, no, but like I think it's just him sort of just talking about whatever the hell's on his mind.
Yeah. I thought that the thing he did from Royal Albert Hall, Paper Tiger, I thought that was really, really good. Really.
Yeah.
Good. And that comes from someone who's been to Royal Albert Hall.
He was there while it was being built.
Yeah.
60 years ago.
Yeah. Hey, I just caught that.
Dan, you're great. Jordan, hey, good stuff. Again, man, just how long have you been doing this? I gotta ask.
About a year.
Shut up.
Fuck you.
God damn.
I wrote like I used to write screenplays. Well, I still do, but like I wrote screenplays before. So I had come in having studied comedy a little bit, but like
Okay.
I still study it a lot. I've taken lots of classes on writing and that kind of stuff. So
It's clear that you're very well written. And it's very well thought out. Everything you want to say, and your presentation is not that it's natural. It's not that it's rehearsed. It's you've got great presentation. So although I can see that you're well thought out and well written, it comes across very well. So way to go. Your invisibility joke I thought was hilarious. I think keep going with that.
Okay.
Just as much as you can, I think, because it's just such a deep well that and a lot of people can relate to not being seen, especially if you're in a comedy club, which is weird because we all feel like we need to be seen and are never seen. So your gaslighting topic was extremely hilarious, topical. You could play into it. I don't know how old you are. I'm not that old, but I had to Google gaslighting. I thought I knew what it meant, but I wasn't entirely sure. And then there's like an urban swing to gaslighting. It's gassing. You're gassing somebody up, and that's a totally different thing. So it was kind of weird. So I don't know, maybe play on that, like.
And that's the trick with this one, because the original version of that first gaslighting joke was, I recently discovered I've been gaslighting myself. I was going to stop, but then I realized that it never happened, and I was wrong for ever feeling that way. Like if you know exactly what gaslighting is, but like I think most people just have like a vague idea for it. So I've got to find a way to explain it while working jokes. That's the trick. Like explaining it, but still keeping it funny and having people like get those jokes later on. So that's what I got to figure out.
It's so smart. Way to go. And the way you brought it full circle with you gaslighting it, like it's a great joke, man. So keep at it. You're cyberbullying, or just bullying in general. The bullying kink came to mind. Like and like, don't kink shame me. Like this is just something like you could kind of roll with that. And then cyberbullying with COVID, you're paying girls to cyberbully you now, and now you're in debt. I don't know.
Or it's really changed my it's freshened up my masturbation, which is very handy during a pandemic,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kept my love life with myself quite alive.
Self-discovery is so important no matter what stage of life you're in. Am I right, Dan?
It's like when I masturbate now, it's like I'm disappointed, but I'm so arrogant it doesn't bother me.
So that's all I had. Good job. Way to go.
Cool. How about you, Jesse? You got anything for Jordan?
I thought it was really, really good. The bullying, I wrote down a quick little joke that might work. Bullying feels good because at least you're participating in a group activity. I feel like if you wanted to like branch into like isolation or anything like that, that's a good little punchline or set up punchline to go into that one with.
Okay, cool.
Then you were talking about how like just cringy it is for like a lot of those self-love practices, and I 100% agree. Like a lot of what a therapist will suggest you do to pick up your self-esteem is very like, if anyone else finds out about this, I think I would have rather killed myself. Like,
Well, that's actually another joke that I haven't got in yet, but it's like I fit like because is this a prank? Like, are these things a prank? Like,
yeah,
I think these things are designed to make other people watching you do this feel better. Like, I mean, like a therapist would tell you, yeah, okay, so say these self-empowerment phrases into a video and post it on YouTube and send it to your whole, social media.
No, why would you share it?
Yeah.
Like I literally just wrote suicide is just better for everyone involved. Like, I'm not even gonna do this. I'm just gonna kill myself outright. I think it's gonna be easier for everyone. I'll save dignity. You won't like lose any respect for me because like if I kill myself now, it'll be like, oh, he was going through such hard times. If I try self-help and then kill myself, it'll be like, fuck, he really went off his rocker, didn't he? Just talking about how I can attain the dream. I just need to visualize, and then it'll become a reality. I mean, he was gone, man. And lastly, I wrote, what the fuck is that?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you were talking about how like there's certain levels of like being an asshole versus being kind. Like you wouldn't slash your boss's tires, but you'd leave him a stern note. I wrote for a variant of that. You wouldn't shoot up the office, but you might microwave fish before you leave. Just subtle little fuck yous. Nothing that'll get you into a newspaper or, potentially history books for the wrong reasons. Just subtle fuck yous.
I like that one. I like that example. That's a good one.
Are you done? Sorry, Jesse.
Yeah, no, 100%. That was a fantastic set, though.
Yeah, I thought you did really well too. I don't really have a lot of pointers for you because clearly your jokes are written better than mine. One thing I did notice though is you said something about an unsigned or a note on your boss's window or something like that. You said I just thought if you added an unsigned note, it sounds more cowardly and more funny to me. But yeah, you know what I mean. But all your stuff was great. You had some kind of thing where you're talking about. I was listening. I was just like enjoying everything. And you talked about like telling yourself some, I guess, shitting on yourself the next day because you're gaslighting yourself, sort of thing. It made me picture like a vision wall, like just a shitty thing saying on a vision wall. Then it also reminded me when I started comedy that like soon in, I just was on this page and I wasn't saying anything. I was just watching other people say things, and I started screenshotting how many times someone told somebody else to quit comedy. I had this big collage of like 100 things. Quit comedy, quick. It's just the funniest thing to me. Just people just being dicks. I don't know. It just reminded me of it. I thought it was quite funny. But yeah, really good job, man. It was a really good job. So yeah, I think we'll move on to our next guest. Dressing like a 50-year-old lesbian. Please welcome Dan Brennan, everybody.
Hey, Keller, I identify as a 50-year-old lesbian, so that's quite offensive to me. You tried to be funny, but you offended me.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'll just tell you a quick story. I do actually get to do, I don't know where you guys are at in your little corners of the world, but last week I went up to Oshawa with another guy from our local Hamilton scene, and we did a show for one person. They were allowed 10. Only one person showed up. I went up first. The guy I rode up with, he went up second, and the one person walked out halfway through his set, which, you know, always makes for a fun ride home. You know what I mean? Like that just topped the night off. It made it so worthwhile. You walked the guy. Now fuck off, man. He was drunk. He just fucking left. He just left of his own accord. But the best part about the whole thing was I was quickly brought back down to earth because we bumped into him at the cannabis store, this one audience member, after the show, and then he didn't remember me at all. So yeah. Comedy. It's great to be back. It's great to be back. I'm having a great pandemic. You know, when the pandemic started almost a year ago for me, like March 16th would be the last time I was on a proper stage. That's a story in and of itself. I had to host and headline because only one other comedian showed up. The Cardinal sin, right? You don't host and headline, you know. But one other comedian showed up, and like the three drunks that would have been there anyways, and nobody else. It's like, maybe we should take this thing seriously. They should fucking read a newspaper. People don't do that anymore. Okay. Anyways, when it all started, I thought I had the virus. Yeah, but I didn't panic. I did my research, and it turns out a large rash in the genital area is not one of the symptoms. It's International Women's Day, so I don't know if I can get away with this one, but the pandemic has actually brought me closer to understanding what it's like to be a woman. The amount of time my mask has gone into my eye, I think I got a yeast infection. That's a lip slip joke for you guys who've ever had a girlfriend. But the pandemic, like, okay, so like the first 6 months weren't so bad, and you know, I was managing quite nicely, and then I ran out of room to paint the living room in my own blood, and then I got a little bored, right? But strange things have happened during the pandemic. At one point last year, I had 100% of my laundry clean. This has never happened in my adult life. This presented a new problem because apparently I don't have enough storage for 100% clean laundry. I thought the laundry hamper was where I put the dirty laundry. It turns out it was a vital part of my storage system. Jordan was talking about superpowers, and that just popped into my head because we've all had that conversation, you know, whether it's at a dinner party. If you could have one superpower, what would it be, you know, or maybe you're in the bed with a girl and, you know, and you're talking about The Simpsons and whatever, and you're just lying there on a Saturday afternoon and you know, you get into that conversation. If you could have one superpower, and she goes, bigger penis, and you go, what? And the relationship ends, you know. But I've thought about this long and hard. I've thought long about it hard. And if I could have any superpower, all right, you ready for this? It would be the ability to remove one arm. Right? Just right here from the shoulder. Boom. Okay. And the arm is still functional. The arm is still functional. Great for getting stuff from high places. Someone needs a slap, you can do it from a safe distance, you know. Think about how good spooning would be if you only had one arm. If you could put one arm aside and get down to the spooning, okay? And I bet you once you had that, you know, detachable arm for a while, I bet you could get so good with it, shaping it and stuff, you could turn it into a boomerang. And then, you know, like when people ask you why one arm was stronger than the other, you wouldn't have to give them an embarrassing response as well, you know? That would be good. Well, I'm running out of time, so let me tell you this, guys. You know, I signed up for this particular workshop at the last minute because I really needed to hear the laugh. I needed to be amongst comedians. I had a bit of a bad experience this weekend. My grandmother, yes, she's still alive. She got the vaccine, so I was able to go around and visit her for the first time. And you know, the Catholic priest was over because she's a good Irish Catholic lady, and she's still quite involved in the church. And we were all sitting there in the living room, and you know, she got up to make the tea as grandmothers do, and the priest he turned to me and he said, Daniel, as I understand it, you're a lax Catholic. And I said, no, Father, I'm more like an ex-lax Catholic. I got rid of that shit a long time ago. So thank God with no Catholics in tonight. Then good. Joe can go one of two ways. So the priest left because like he had kids to diddle or something, right? And it was just me and Grandma. And she said to me, you know, what's new with you? And I told her about being in comedy, and I told her about how excited I was that comedy was opening back up again. And I swear to God, I'd never seen her look so proud. She leaned back in her chair, she folded her hands, and she said, my grandson will be the next Bill Cosby. I said, Grandma, you can't say that. She said, you're right. A boring fuck like you wouldn't need the pills. Like, who knew Grandma watches TV? My time.
Hey, Dan, good job. You got a wonderful laugh up here for you, Dan. Someone that laughed. It must be one of your friends. Did you text?
Is there other people watching this?
Yeah, there's 2 people watching this right now.
What are their names?
I can't tell, but I can see there's 2 people on there. So you're probably one of them.
Wait a minute. You're saying there must be my friends like the joke wasn't funny? Obviously, people you know tuning in, Ted. Probably a relative.
Yeah. I don't mean to rag on you or anything, right? So I do like your host and headline joke there when you're talking about. Yeah, I didn't know one-man shows were like that. That's kind of.
You can't, as the host, you cannot. I've seen people do it. You cannot headline the show, you know, like the host is supposed to be building up to the headliner. And some people have gone out and said, hey, you've seen me all night. Now get to see me some more, you know, like it's ridiculous. But yeah.
Here's Jester Lind adding in here. He did mean Cosby there, but that's what he said. Love the Cosby switcheroo.
Oh, nice.
So
Switcheroo, yeah.
That's so we know one guy watching. So
cool.
There.
Nice.
So, yeah. So Jesse, you got anything for him?
I really enjoyed the set. Like, I love your rhythm of the setup punchline. It really takes me back to that just for laughs when like you had your Easterners on and like they would just like be like killing it with like this setup punchline and like this really charming cadence. And I feel like you have that down pat.
Yeah.
Where like that story at the end when you're talking about you're going to go visit your grandma because she just got the shot, and you're talking about the Irish priest. I love like the way you're describing that story and like how you just like slip in those couple of jabs at the priest. I felt like you could have done one about like your grandma being Catholic, but because she was so religious, she never adhered to any of the guidelines, so it kind of was a miracle that she was still alive. I feel like there's something there you could work with.
Right. Yeah.
You could just get into how during like the last year, like you had certain people who, you know, went along with COVID guidelines, waited until the vaccine came out, even put themselves up in isolation. And then you had others where just like conspiracy theory. And I feel like you could definitely have a lot of fun with that topic just because like you do come off as more charming than you do
funny,
confrontational. No. If anything, I think it adds to how funny the set comes off because like you don't feel like you're getting attacked. You feel like these are just little jabs and jokes. And I feel like that's a very important atmosphere to maintain, and you do it very well.
I just love that we've gotten to the end of the workshop and Keller's really starting to show some rev. You know what I mean? Like he's ready to show some pluck now.
I'm going out on a high note, God damn it.
Your comments there, Jesse. Yeah. And for the record, my grandmother's probably been dead for 28 odd years. So.
Well, who hasn't resurrected a grandma for a good punchline?
Well,
there you go.
Get out of school on that, Jesse. You could have you got him when you said that it really takes me back. You missed the opportunity to say you got all the way to vaudeville. That's
I wasn't trying to insult him though.
You had a perfect chance. You just left it laying there. I was like, do it, spike it.
This is why I'm not a roast comedian. I do the rants, the raves, and that's it. I don't like making fun of the people.
Here's one from Jester. She's so old, She's old enough to remember New Coke. That's it.
It was a sad day when they removed the cocaine. We all
Well,
noticed. We
Jody-
all noticed.
Dan?
What's that?
Me?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Jordan?
So, okay, I'm just going to start by saying, if you shouldn't do a joke on International Women's Day, you probably just shouldn't do it anytime. Like, I mean, it's not like, women, it's not this isn't the only day that women are here. Like, I'm not going to do
You can be misogynistic 365 days out of the year.
Yeah.
It's not,
You know,
there's
I'm
no
not-
special day.
I'm not going to do these jokes during Black History Month, but as soon as March rolls around, I'll be, just
You
a
mean
thought.
you didn't do a Martin Luther King impression last month? Oh, fuck, that's why they didn't laugh.
So your story about the guy, the one audience member, and him walking out on your buddy's set. Now you could either include this area of your set or just use it to roast the guy, but he did technically walk the entire club.
Yeah.
So you can talk about the time. Remember that time he walked the entire audience? Like, I mean, he emptied the club, halfway through his set, and so you can really have a lot of.
That was really just for us, because that goes under that category of people don't give a shit about comedians' lives, or
Yeah.
they wouldn't know why it was funny to have to go on a car ride, with a guy who walked, because that's exactly what I was saying in the car ride, right?
Yeah.
He walked the entire audience, man. If that guy had left a tab, that bar lost money last night.
I could see that playing out in my mind. Like, hey, do you think between you, me, and him, they made good last night? Fuck off. How many beers did you buy? I think it's important. I mean, it affected our entire overhead by like 30%.
Another one with your power to remove your arm. One thing I thought of, if I could do that and I was ever in a fight, I would just take my arm off and beat him with it, because he'd be so thrown. Like, wait a second, did he just rip his arm off? I think it would be a pretty effective move. Like,
I kept thinking I would be the shit at Halloween. Halloween's time to shine. I'm gonna rent my arm out for like special events. Like, parents, how many arms can I get moving all at once? Like, there's a real fucking cash cow here.
Yeah, that's a good point. I like that. And I'll just finish my feedback and say, and like, this is totally useless to you, but if I had a superpower, I would choose the ability to like pause and restart time. Like Zach Morris, like time out, like be able to, and everybody just stops and time stops. That would be my superpower. And it would be 100% self-serving. Like, I would not help anybody with this. This would be totally for my agenda, and I would probably end up murdering people and totally getting away with it, because they would basically just disappear.
Well,
so, and that's what I'm going to end my feedback on.
Yeah, you've rumbled me there. I'm actually only 22. I've been stopping time so much that I have aged. Anyways, thanks for that, man. That was helpful.
Yeah. Just as a Zach joke from where you're talking about Saved by the Bell, he's actually, me and Dan are almost the same age, and he's older than us by 2 years. So that's what Dan looks like right now. Just nuts.
That's what California salt air does for you.
It just rusts everything.
Cuts life by 50%. Hey, Dan, good set.
Hey.
I liked your laundry bit. Yeah, because so I don't do my own laundry. I'm married, and every once in a while I'll come home and all of my laundry is done except for what I'm wearing to work, and it's very odd because it's like piled up on my bed, and I've got to find places to store it all. And then I get frustrated with myself. And so it's like, why did I even wear this? Where did I wear it to? Why is it out? Why now I've got to figure out where to store it now. Like, I just think that's super funny. And like the hamper is just a storage place for clothing. You got a good third there. So that's a great topic. I absolutely loved it. Your detachable arm, I think, is great. I thought Jordan hit on a great thing with like using it as a weapon if somebody breaks into your house. I wrote down going the completely opposite way. I would use it for like self-pleasure, as self-masturbation. It's like that's a different form of the stranger. You're holding your own arm.
You got me thinking there. Yeah, exactly. You'd have to bring up the stranger. Like, yeah, the stranger's one sitting on your hand, but imagine removing your arm and it seductively crawls up your leg.
Yeah. Or like you put it like in a different part of the house and you go and hide and it comes and finds you and it's so here you are.
Coquettish little arm.
Yeah. Or even like if you're with a significant other, you know, somebody you're having a romantic sexual evening with, and maybe you get caught, you know, just you leave the hand over there or the arm over there with her, and you're Dan, where did you go? Oh, I'm not eating more snacks, you know.
Yeah.
So that was great. And then your grandma roasting you was just great. That was hilarious. So.
Thanks. That was my I can't remember when in my first year I wrote that joke, but that was my closer for my first year. Really? 4 years ago. 5 years minus COVID. So yeah, when I come on this, I'm just trying to jumble up all sorts of old material and see what works and throw out as much new shit. Because my only mantra at the moment is something I was moaning like, because I really only have 25 minutes at a push. I have 25 minutes that I'm proud of and would want to record maybe, you know, and I'm like, yeah, coming up with that X20, that's going to be really, really hard, you know, because you got to have 45 minutes, right? So that's going to be fucking impossible. And the guy who runs the local club here, and he goes, well, when you think about it, 24 new minutes is only 2 minutes a month. I'm like, oh, you cocksucker. It doesn't sound that hard, does it? It's impossible. It's like, well, when you break it down like that, fuck. So
yeah, two good minutes.
Yeah. Like, something you'd be proud enough to record. So
no, good job.
Thanks, man. It's been great. Good fun, guys.
Yeah. I had some things down too, Dan. It was a really good set. I enjoyed it. I've heard you a couple times, of course, in a row, and I remember that set maybe last week before about the Oshawa stuff, and I think you flopped it this time. I think you told the story that it was you that was the guy that walked the guy, and this time you told us your buddy that walked it.
Never. No, my ego wouldn't let me do that. No. Okay. I have never thought the idea of in that story being the guy who walked the audience member. I can assure you.
Well, I thought that was the way it was because then you said the guy didn't even remember you at the thing. Like, how would he remember you if you were not even on stage yet?
He would remember me because I thought the idea behind that was that, you know, I'd performed for him, I'd entertained him, and he hasn't. Yeah, but if you got to explain it, I guess it needs work, doesn't it?
No. I thought you changed it around a bit, and I was going to comment how it was like it was different. It was kind of cool. So yeah, I wrote down. I like the mask in your eyes too thing. I've heard that you said before, but I was thinking about gives you pink eye instead of like, you know, like, a different kind of twist on it somehow. The arm stuff I love too. Great. That was pretty funny. It gave me a lot of visual imagery to kind of prosper, like I guess take in and think about it. So like I did like it. It was pretty cool. Here's Jester saying the same thing. He liked the removable hand story, but it needs a hook, he says. So you know, it's a good little.
Jester just can't help himself from the pun. It was just there, and he was just like, I have to.
Yeah, I think I met him on a show before.
Yeah.
Jester's really active in the workshop.
I think we were on the same show the first time, Dan.
Yeah, I think that's right. They all blend together after a while.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, but I like that story with the arm because it's kind of wacky and gives you a lot of, like I said, it just gets you down a path you can go with. So I think you got something there. It'll be kind of cool. So
yeah, it's the kind of thing I like to break out if I think the audience is like, I don't do it as a mainstay, but like if I think the audience is nerdy or like someone went on before and did some deep cut anime shit and they all went nuts for it, you know what I mean? Like, you know, then I'll break out. Like if they look like a Comic-Con kind of crowd, I'll break out the fucking removable arm story because I'm always just trying to find stuff that's relatable, right? Yeah. So like I think, oh yeah, who hasn't had that conversation? You know, if you can have superpower, why limit yourself to one? I say, I want two.
I couldn't detach my arms because I'm such a hand talker. They just go flying in directions.
Yeah, your detached arm would just be like a fish out of water flopping around, right?
You slapped your friend across the room by accident.
You fall out your arm like You fall out with your arm, and your wife comes in the room and says, "Who ate the rest of the pie?" And the fucking arm points, and you cocksucking her.
Traitor,
That'll be
the
like-
traitorous arm.
Treacherous arm, yeah.
That's like the point in a superhero movie where like the power seems like it can't be contained. He just slaps his wife from across the room. I'm sorry, honey. Get out of here, you monster.
Yeah, lots of work with, lots of work. It could get very visual, like, you know what I mean. It might make a great little sketch or
Yeah.
5-minute piece.
What if you got into like arguments using ASL? Your hands just shit talking you like you're nothing. You're nothing without me. I can just walk out of here. You'll always just be a one-armed man.
Yeah, I thought the best way to take it was like the arm that's detachable. Like it has its own brain when it's detached, so it likes to prefers. That's a very comic booky thing there. I can see Jordan Steam coming out of zeros going, fuck, I bet you there's an orb in this somewhere. I bet you they have to chase down a glowing object any second now. Yeah, no. Yeah. Yeah, if you wanted to go really deep cut, that would be the way to do it, like the conflict between the arm and the dude. But I need
Jordan's just thinking like, I might hate comic book writing, but fuck me, is comedy any better?
All righty then.
Yeah, we're coming to the end here. I want to thank you all. It's been a fun show. I actually really enjoyed you guys all. Jesse, where can we find you after tonight?
I'm on Everybody Laughs on YouTube and Facebook, Everybody Laughs Productions, or you can just get a hold of me at Jesse Gillette on Facebook. Probably the easiest way to do it.
Awesome.
Nice,
Yeah. Joe, where can we find you? Thank you for being here too, by the way.
You could find me on Twitter or Instagram at jgomez206. That's going to be the best way to find me. You can find me on Facebook on Joe Gomez as well. So, yeah, thanks for having me. That was a lot of fun, guys.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, Jordan, where can we find you, my friend?
I think I already said you could find me on this workshop right here, right now, and then nowhere else until the next one. But yeah, one of these days, maybe I'll give it a try.
A workshop exclusive, ladies and gentlemen.
And Dan, what park can we find you feeding the birds in?
Well, yeah, that's a real sore point with me because I learned last summer I'm too old to sit in parks by myself now. It raises something called suspicion. You can find me, Dan Brennan, on Facebook. You'll definitely recognize the picture. I'm on Twitter and probably getting more active on Twitter at Dan Brennan Live. You can also find me on Instagram at Comedy Things Dan Brennan. Stranger Things was very popular when I came up with the name. I'm not always as witty as I think I am. Anyway, thanks, guys. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah. So my name's Keller Reeves. You can find me on all the stuff, Keller J. Reeves. I'm on there. I've been staying away from social media a bit just because it's been a bit much with nothing else to do in your fucking life but fucking flip fucking pages because I can't do comedy shows apart from this. So, yeah, I'm really grateful for the workshop. If you're interested to get on this show at any time, I said earlier, but I'll repeat it. Just join the group and ask when they post. They post regularly. They look for new people all the time to keep it going fresh and everything else. And it's a lot of fun. It's been a great thing. I think for me, I like to get at least one joke, maybe, or at least one premise I can work with every show, and like 2 minutes, like Dan said, and hopefully you'll have something after a while, and you can jig them all together. So it's a lot of fun here. I want to thank you guys all for being here. Thank you guys all. You've been a great I guess panel. Panel's the right word, I guess. So yeah. So thank you guys very much, and we'll it's every night of the week, guys. We'll catch you every Monday. That's where I'll be here hosting. So we'll see you next time.
Cheers.
Thank you.